The battle against evil rages on!
Gee, and I sure wonder who's part of the reason for that, huh? What's this blood splatter supposed to be? It's true that the killer received an arm injury while making an attempt on the president's life, but not only did that attempt take place days before this current attempt, only one person lost blood during this event, and that was one of the bodyguards while he was inside the plane. After all, it's not every day an attempt is made on the life of a nation's president. Ooh boy, only a couple months before this game finally came to the US, Trump had a brush with death before even starting his second term.
You're the prosecutor in charge of this here case, ain't ya?
Hi, you're not annoying him at all. You were summoned on short notice as well?
Sure was. Right in the middle of my day off!
Rude. Is there really no other homicide detectives available? I can view what information I have with L and then connect them with X. Why is some of the text in this particular thought white? I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. And I must scour the footage and send every uttering of this line. And yet here we see quite a different picture. One thing in particular stands out, don't you think?
Right, of course. I give up. Come on, spill the beans.
This guy's a detective, by the way. I need to know about the shooting. Can you tell me how many gunshots you heard?
Why, I most certainly cannot.
I know, exclusives and all, but this is a serious investigation. An Ace Attorney gimmick with an actual running time limit? What a friggin' concept! Surprisingly, don't return it for future games. With the opening moves concluded, the mid-game approaches. There's only one piece left. I'm pretty sure it's the end game now. Also, why is the last my chess piece always a queen? I know it's the most powerful piece on the board, but isn't it the king you're after? It's true that the king can't be traditionally captured and removed from the board like any other piece, but still.
Just as long as I got my trusty tape recorder, I'll always be ready to nab me a scoop.
One of the options is I'm not interested in your tape recorder? Isn't that like the opposite of what we need to tell her? We're talking about evidence being kept on record, yet one of the options is to do away with that idea. I'm not stupid, you know. Checkmate. Again, it was the queen you eliminated, not the king. Therefore, I'm pretty sure you can't just call checkmate like that. Oh my gosh, am I pointing out flaws in the logic of a prosecutor who's definitely a far better chess player than me?
You play me like a fiddle, Ruffles. Only the chief ever played me so good. So, you gotta agree to be chief number 2, and be mentored to a rising star, aka me.
Mentor for journalism? Just my profession alone should be enough to tell you I have no interest in something so secretive.
The president thrusts his fist into the air as the excitement reaches fever pitch.
But doesn't the president only thrust his fist while talking about hammer of justice? Yet according to Tabby on this tape, he's already doing it while saying the battle against evil. Also, about this chief business, I am nobody's chief. Just give it 7 years, Edgy, don't worry. Your clothes are covered in mud. Allow me to pay for the cleaning, it's the least I can do.
Huh? You mean my jacket? Oh, don't you be worrying your pretty little head about that. It's reversible. All you gotta do is switch it around, and alakazam! No more dirt.
On the outside, perhaps, but you'd still have something of a problem with the inside. It's called recycling. Fred from Big Hero 6 taught me.
That bag was a real find, huh? Just goes to show, a bag in the hand is worth 2 in the trash.
What? A good set of fingerprints could really help this investigation along.
Got the results for you, sir.
That was quick.
You bet it was. Told the techs it was ultra super high priority.
But that doesn't mean they were able to check it that quickly, right?
Well, it's just like the chief always says. You gotta treat information as irresponsibly as you can.
Are you sure you didn't just mishear that? Why take such a complicated route? You're already right within the vicinity to meet Edgeworth again.
Honestly, I leave you alone for 2 seconds.
I'm pretty sure that was way longer than 2 seconds. This photo highlights the first contradiction in the game, but it was way too tricky for me to figure out, not by accident, and I blame the evidence for that. I know that sounds strange, but hear me out. The area in question is the red spot on the president's forehead, which doesn't appear in the photo in the newspaper article that talks about his visit to the States. Now, I am aware of birthmarks, and a foreign friend of mine likened it to Asian countries where their people had these sorts of birthmarks, but when I first saw this photograph, birthmark never crossed my mind. That's because I already knew that red spot was the shine of the laser pointer from the gun I found in the trash can. Come to think of it, you're able to talk to the camera crewman first to get K's photos before getting the gun from the trash can, but when I first played this game, I actually picked up the gun with the laser pointer first, then got K's photos. As a result, I never put together that the red spot on the president's forehead could be perceived as a birthmark, all because I picked up the gun from the trash can before getting this photo, leading me to figure something out too early. But also, even if you did gather the photographs first, Edgeworth says the names Knight and Rook, which doesn't make sense because you only know those names just by getting the security plan. But if you got the security plan second, this makes no sense. Cool, a prosecutor's badge I can examine if I want to. Let's examine the picture from the immediate photo we see when the options come up. Look, all that's important is that the button was ripped from the raincoat, meaning it was taken off in a hurry. That button is kind of pointless in the need to prove it, so do we really have to piece these together? I don't know, man. I feel like it's been more like an hour since Edgeworth arrived at Gourd Lake, not 41 minutes. I know this man from somewhere. I'm sure of it. Granted, Edgeworth never really saw Shelly the Killer's face, but he's wearing his name right there on his clothes. He's seen that symbol before. He knows what it is.
I can understand why whoever wore this raincoat would be of interest to you, but you have no proof that this person is injured as you claim.
The fact that we dragged you here says otherwise.
Please, I am just a simple ice cream seller. Oh my.
Dude, the wound opened up on the side opposite where the killer wiped. He should have cleaned up Jack. That ice cream is sweating? Won't be long until it's a liquid. He just crushed that cone in his fist. How is it okay? And then it just spins as it slowly descends into his hand again. Some people's damage animations, man.
I had thought you might find it far-fetched, hence my not mentioning it until now. I know you law enforcement people are very skeptical types. You would never have believed me.
If you know us law enforcement people, you should also know that we'd find out where you're hiding eventually.
No criminal organization, no matter how big, is above the law!
Okay, that's definitely not something we've heard the president say just yet. I thought that animation would never end.
Guy's a pro, a hitman. His name's Shelly the Killer.
The Killer?
What a surprise, said no one who played Justice for All.
I swear I've seen this picture in one of my old files before, but... how could I have been so careless?
Is it seriously any less believable that Edgeworth knew it was the killer but avoided directly confronting him as an assassin at first because he needed to talk to a potential involved party? Why write it so that he genuinely couldn't recognize a distinct face he saw? Which means he continued to do his duty right up until his dying breath.
At least he'll get posthumously promoted.
Right, and how exactly does a posthumous promotion work?
It's an emergency entrance disguised as an emergency exit. All the president would need to do is lower his rope ladder and make his miraculous escape.
Which would make it an exit, not an entrance. So which is it?
It's an exit, but it's used as an entrance, but disguised as an exit. Yeah, I think.
Congratulations, you've even confused yourself. That's quite the achievement.
Just stick to the stepladder. Also covered in case amphibious assault. I think the word of is missing in that little sentence right there.
I'm just as good as he ever was.
You were a pawn to his queen, my young friend.
But the rook is still a more powerful piece of the knight, so... Great, while we're reading Edgeworth's thoughts, this butt-faced president is still babbling on about presidential stuff. Let's dig a little deeper into the claim that the plane is sovereign territory, shall we? That by itself is not so much a claim as it is a statement of fact. A government plane does have a form of extraterritoriality. There are circumstances to consider with this, of course, but the real contention is about where the crime took place. If it was inside the plane, extraterritoriality does in fact hold.
The right to extraterritoriality cannot be denied. This is Zheng Fa!
Zheng Fa? This is blasphemy. This is madness! One of the options is to basically agree with him, just throw in the towel, like sacrificing a piece of chess for no reason at all. According to you, she shot at you from outside the aircraft, correct? In which case, extraterritoriality could not possibly apply to this case. Your assertion is entirely without merit, and the detainment of Ms. Lloyd cannot be justified!
How could I have...
Wow, this guy went down much easier than the last guy to boast extraterritoriality, and he's the freaking president.
Yes! For without noble acts such as these, blah 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 blah, for unmistakably and irrefutably, for which reason we hereby blah 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 blah, there can be no other outcome. For our goals are lofty and their hearts blah 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 blah. People of Zheng Fa, I swear to you here and now, this investigation will continue.
Holy crap, presidential speeches.
I guess if you look at it in one way, the president is also a victim here.
Hasn't that always been the case, even if we were investigating an attempted assassination? I mean, he's not dead, but he could have been.
Could he really have mistaken the Steel Samurai's pants for a plain red balloon?
Absolutely. Why is that so hard to believe? Your proof is in this picture right here.
This should be good. Which picture? Where?
To answer which way the flags were blowing when the shot was fired, we had to present Kay's 3 photographs. But what's the point of asking which picture if the game just automatically shows the correct picture for us? Buff man turns out to be chubby. Haha!
Objection!
Why does Knight have an objection soundbite? He's just a bodyguard. He doesn't have a career in law.
The flag was billowing in the wind at precisely the right moment. I hit my gun with my attaché case. We changed the security plan because I couldn't turn my head. It's all just speculation, circumstantial evidence at best. You can't prove any of it.
But it's the only logical conclusion. Do you have an alternative? Did he just fire a bullet at himself in shock?
He may not have been a native of Zhongfa, but he was someone I could fully trust.
The fact that he wasn't a Zhangfa native is kind of the reason you were able to trust him more, I thought. In all likelihood, you knew this contradiction because you saw it in one of the trailers for the Investigations collection. I did. Very well, my conclusive evidence is... This is a stupid cheap shot trick question because A, the evidence may not be physically with you, but these games play semantics, and B, it's the freaking tutorial. You can play semantics in the finale, but not at the beginning of the freaking game, dang it. Detective Gumshoe, you didn't do anything strange to the bullet when you recovered it, did you?
Strange like what, sir?
You didn't, step on it or anything?
How could you, sir? How could you even think something like that?
Ah! You didn't need to go full-throated on me, detective! Yes he did. That was quite the claim to make just to find even a tiny problem with the evidence provided.
Don't go making accusations you can't back up. Or did your daddy never teach you that?
Ouch, what a jerk. What about your own weapon? How many spent bullets are in its cylinder?
This old girl here? Well, now. I let loose a few rounds earlier, as you saw.
Yeah, on yourself.
No!
No, he just got hit on the head by multiple blunt objects, including the Thinker, the Yugo piggy bank, and even his own gun. How is he not dead yet? I'm pretty sure it took at least a whole hour to solve the case inside the plane, not a half hour. Wait, isn't that the culprit from the last case? I don't know, sir. I'll go and check. We've got a situation! Ah! What were you thinking just materializing like that? I know you want to save a lot of the important locations for later, but I don't see why this layout couldn't immediately name the yard and the warden's office.
Time to inspect every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Thanks for reminding me what this game's predecessor was, but this one has a new recurring phrase for closer inspection. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. And I must scour the footage and send every uttering of this line.
Weird having something like this in a prison, huh? A cage inside a cage.
Technically, Kay, a prison isn't made up of cages, but cells.
What's the difference? No offense, Mr. Edgeworth, but you've got to look at the basic nature of things more.
Yes, and the basic nature of an investigation is the pursuit of accurate facts and information. In which case, let me set the record straight by saying that what we're looking at here is a cage within a workshop, not a cell or another cage. There, I saved everyone the trouble. Can we move on?
Look, there's a whip on top of them. You know who that reminds me of, right? Hey, maybe it's actually hers. Maybe she left it here.
What would Franziska be doing in a place like this? I see no sign of a murder weapon anywhere.
You're right! I didn't even think of that!
Even though we found a stab wound in his neck?
Excusez-moi, but...
Let me just stop you right there. Didn't Weird Al teach you that you should never use quotation marks for emphasis?
those piercing eyes, that furrowed brow.
Mr. Fender, it has been far too long.
I know, right? But even after all this time, I'd still know that deep bow anyway. And that neck were obs. Manfred von Karma, the man, the legend. Gotta say, didn't expect to see you here.
As well you shouldn't have, but you know what else you shouldn't have? Thought this young man was Manfred von Karma. Not only does he look nothing like von Karma, the identity you named has been dead for over 2 years now.
Can't blame a guy for mixing you two up, though.
Yes you can. There's a very distinct difference, and I'm not gonna waste my time going into intricate detail.
Enchanté, as they say. Fennis the name, defendant's my game. I'm a bit of an ace attorney, eh?
Roll credits. I'd better see what he has to say for himself. So in order to talk to Fender about him representing Knight, I have to manually walk up to him. More of this stuff, eh?
No, dude. What do you know about it? I'll give you 3 choices.
All three of these are wrong. Why even give me only these options? I feel like Edward should already know what it is because the game told us when we discovered the body. When they walk through a workshop door, the sensor checks their bracelet. And if they're not supposed to be there, ding-a-ling-a-ling! An alarm sounds. If they let it ring for too long, then bzzz, they get a real shock if you know what I mean. And if they try to break or remove the bracelet, bzzz, a shock 3 times worse than that! In other words, you don't want to end up in prison. You know how to avoid that? Just don't break the law, butthole! Okay, seriously, that sounds like it will be worse than in a real prison, but I wouldn't know, nor do I want to know.
Seeing is believing. Isn't that what they say?
Someone's a Tom Hanks fan.
Seems they decided to try a little experiment in animal therapy a few years back. The cons are assigned a critter each, a buddy to help keep the spirits up.
I bet a convicted felon would love to have some company. Either that or some fresh meat. Hard to tell exactly if I like this or not.
Mr. Edgeworth, were you seriously trying to stare it down?
Yeah, staring down a dog? Terrible idea.
Not for nothing, sir, but your dog handling skills could use some work.
If you've seen the anime, this line is ironic because in that version, Edgeworth actually once owned a dog when he was a child. He still had the dog even after Von Karma adopted him. Carcerado most certainly didn't have his hood up before we walked up to his cell. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this exciting match in Mind Chess Boxing. In the red corner, the genius prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. And in the blue corner, the prisoner Rocky Balboa knockoff Rocco Carcerado. Looks like it's Braves versus Braun tonight.
Throwing in the towel already? That's gotta be a record!
Carcerado, a professional boxer, believes Edgeworth to already be forfeiting even though, just the same, he could also be on the defense. He could just remove his weights like that? That's terrible security.
Overruled!
Great way to introduce someone, just a little interjection.
Objection!
Oh dear, not you two. Also, do you know what Regina Barry, Clavier Gavin, and Kay Faraday and Eustace Winter have in common? They were all 17 at the same time.
Ignorance is sweet, as they say. So I'm sure most things mean sweet nothings to you.
Ignorance is bliss, Winter, and I don't think sweet nothings means what you think it means. I actually had to Google sweet nothings and found out that it refers to words or acts shared between romantic partners. If this inspires fan art between Eustace and Gumshoe, or honestly anyone else, that's way messed up because Eustace is only 17. Judge Gavelle, I believe I asked for an explanation.
No explanation is required. The guilty verdict is in. The goddess has spoken, and her judgment is final.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't explain your actions.
Then what you are saying is that the ends justify the means?
You're bringing an actual rule breaker to mind right now, and this particular rule breaker hasn't been introduced yet.
I've got some bad news, sir. Word down at the precinct is they just arrested somebody for Knight's murder.
Not exactly sure how that's bad news, assuming of course he's just a person of interest at best, maybe even the murderer at worst.
And that's Mr. Edgeworth. He is a prosecutor, but he's not gonna stare a hole into your soul or anything.
Oh, please.
Really?
Really?
Really? You know, maybe you should cut back on the cold stares, especially if they're for literally no reason at all. Thanks to Kay, it sounds like we might finally get some answers at least. And whose fault is that for not keeping a neutral expression the whole time? Like how Apollo should work on his volume? Is it just me, or is she getting better at stealing my thoughts?
You do know everything you think is written all over your face, right, Mr. Edgeworth?
I don't have a comment for this, although I could say that it makes sense for Kay to have been asking the questions she did before this little comment was made.
Yeah, we were best friends. At least I thought we were, but I guess I was wrong about that.
What do you mean?
If I know him so well, why was it such a shock for me to find out he had killed someone?
He'd tie up his best friend in a car on a freezing Christmas Eve just so his dad could win a contest, but murder is just too much. These policemen, was there a prosecutor with them?
Yes, some kid named DeWinter or something?
Okay. For those not in the know, though to be honest, I'm not sure how many of you watching are not in the know, before Ace Attorney Investigations 2 was officially released in the West by Capcom via this collection I'm playing on for the footage, there existed a fan-made ROM of the DS version that translated the original Japanese text into English. The rival prosecutor character in that version was called Sebastian the Best, and his objection soundbite sounded really geeky. But anyway, I wonder if Simeon referring to Eustace as DeWinter was meant to be a subtle nod to that old name, I know that Capcom was obviously making their own version and were therefore steering clear of the fan translation to avoid influence, but the fan translated version had a huge following before the official version came out, so something like this was probably inevitable. According to the game, it took nearly an hour to talk to Simeon, but according to me, not even close to that long.
Hey, easy there, Detective Flatfoot Sholmes.
Flatfoot Sholmes? And this game originally came out before the Great Ace Attorney even entered development.
The suspect is one Simony Sainsbury.
The only result I got from Googling Simony is some TV actress, and Sainsbury? You mean Sainsbury's? A British supermarket?
Guess y'all noticed I kept his name over the door, so to speak, eh? Least I could do for old Gregory, really.
Unlike Phoenix Wright over there, who completely overhauled the Fade Co name, changing it to Wright & Co. I know it was Maya's recommendation, but still.
Let's get things off on the right foot, shall we? A little embrasse, perhaps?
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Right on the kisser.
Well, how else does one greet a new friend, A little smooch is entirely de rigueur, don't you think?
Yeah, but shouldn't they be kissing each other's cheeks and not, fall in the mouth?
No. Yesterday, the circus came to visit. It was a simply spectacular event featuring some terrifically talented animals. Anyone who was anyone had to be there. If you were here at home, you were watching the show with me.
So the prisoners get to watch circus performances too? Why does this sound way more fun than an actual prison?
Oh, what's her name?
It's Waggy, ma'am. She's my little fur end. Waggy? Is that short for Wagahai, perchance?
And that's it. I certainly didn't see anything.
Sawit had all this time to work on his lying skills, and I see they haven't improved. Also, why is he trying to hide the fact that he found the body? He knows there's an investigation into tonight's murder taking place. I mean, sure, he did try to rob the corpse, but it's not like he took anything.
The animal show really had to be seen to be believed.
It did it? Tell me, what kind of animals did you see?
Let me think. A whale?
Come on! The circus was in town! At least name a proper circus animal! One of the options is to basically call him a zombie.
And then I saw him lying there. A man, not moving, dead. I quailed in fright and found myself screaming in sheer terror.
This sounds strangely familiar, doesn't it?
I know precisely what I am. I'm a former newspaper salesman who's training to be a pet stylist.
Weren't you discovered to have just been a petty thief and the newspaper thing was only a front for your burglaries?
As long as you leave your bracelet inside the door, you can lean out without triggering the alarm. That's how I was able to peek through the window and into the workshop next door.
The way these doors are positioned, I'm not sure that Sawit would have been able to get the angle he needed to see the corpse like that, but let's not have that be the contradiction. But rule breaking isn't exactly a demonstration of remorsefulness, is it?
Oh, but I am remorseful. I always am. I'm a model prisoner after all.
A real model prisoner shouldn't feel the need to remind people that he is a model prisoner every 10 minutes or so. Something tells me he may not have had the best experience with defense attorneys in the past. No kidding. I wonder if this guy was the first culprit to be nailed by that man, by he who could turn any situation on its head.
I remember seeing his ring gleaming as it caught the light. It featured a snowflake motif in relief.
Just before we asked Sawit to append his testimony, all he said was that the man was dead as a doornail, no twitch or anything. This statement about the ring was just added so that we could have a lie to present evidence to so we could advance the story. You know what's hilarious about my playthrough? I had this picture taken after I had already uncovered the ring Sawit mentioned. Yet in the organizer, the photo always has the ring covered up. Yeah, it's there for the contradiction in Sawit's testimony, but still. Edgeworth shows way more emotion than Phoenix did when he had a toupee thrown at his face, and Edgeworth's usually the calm one. Also, I guess old habits just never die, do they, Sawit? And I'm not just talking about lying or stealing either.
Look, I'm just a sweet, innocent witness here.
A sweet, innocent witness with anger issues? Ah, my eyes! What's with the freaking inverted colors?
That's weird. He should be climbing onto that bracelet like the big round lifesaver it is.
What the heck does it mean to climb onto something? Oh, do you mean to say clinging? I see, you're missing a J. Ah, his toupee's back. Okay. I see, so your bracelet is broken. But do they really break that easily? If so, then this prison has a serious security problem. Miles' legwork would be amazing at CinemaSins.
The show ended just after I'd entered the room, and all the other inmates came trickling down the stairs thereafter. I panicked, rushed back to the other workshop, and started my fake screaming.
I'm surprised he didn't scream for real upon first stumbling upon the body on top of that other scream he did to alert everyone. We have no idea how old Canis is, but no way dude's still standing after that big dog leapt on him like that.
Chess is, after all, a game of war. Soldiers, knights, castles, all doing their utmost to protect the king, all loyal to the last. I have always thought it strange that such a game has no place for a dog.
Is it because the game allows a queen onto the battlefield, or are you just that much of a crazy dog lover?
Still, it's simply a piece I made for fun. Fear not, I play by the regular rules, and with the regular pieces.
But that dog piece was still there even while your game of correspondence chess had been put on hold regarding current circumstances.
His name was Bronco Knight, was it not? Poor unfortunate soul.
You gonna start singing? Gosh, I hope not.
Poor unfortunate souls, it's sad, but true.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth!
That's the best hiding spot she could find. I'm pretty sure the idea was less to hide and more to stay above the dog in case it went after her. If we look at the bottom of the diagram, the files are named A through H from left to right, and the ranks from bottom to top, 1 through 8. But that means the teams are on the wrong sides. White's meant to be positioned at rank 1, and Black's meant to be at rank 8. What is it? Can you show it to us? Yes, sir. I have a small playback monitor with me. A small playback monitor for a VHS tape? I'm not denying such thing exists, but it doesn't look like the guard would have anything on hand at the moment that would play footage from a VHS tape. Also, they're still using VHS tapes in 2019, in a game made in 2011!
Well, Mr. Prosecutor and his little friend.
I know Lang still didn't trust prosecutors even after the end of the first investigations, but now back to calling me Mr. Prosecutor.
You're all just here to cause trouble and turn my investigation into a fart!
Like what happened to his brain when putting that sentence together? Evidence of him was all over that thing? Could you be a little more specific, Mr. Winter?
Do I really have to spell it out for you, Edgeworth? I'd hope even you could put 2 and 2 together.
Stop messing around! The onus is on you to provide a comprehensible testimony! Even with how stupid Eustace is, he should have known that, I agree. What? The stiff lighting at the top opens like a flap door. Neat hiding place for a metal blade like what Eustace suggested, but what function does this compartment serve otherwise? It can't be for the chess pieces since they already have their proper places in the foldable board itself. I'm pretty sure a mark like what was just made on Eustace's face there doesn't just fade in a matter of seconds. But perhaps you might have been better served by remembering this.
What's that?
So not only is Eustace stupid, his memory sucks. I thought it was odd before when he forgot that he never found a weapon in the prison, but then he has to go and forget about the metal detector.
A show featuring animals and performers, performed by members of the Very Big Circus.
That group again? It's been a while.
Do you get to train lions and tigers and bears and stuff?
Lions? Tigers? Bears? Oh my!
There you go. Make sure we get the Wizard of Oz quote right. Monkey Tooie. Also, what's the monkey doing with Simeon? Do they think the monkey has something to do with the murder that took place?
She's such an inspiration. There isn't a creature in the world she couldn't convince to do her bidding.
Not even 2 grown men or a ventriloquist puppet.
For a while I had my dad, but he passed away when I was a little kid.
Yeah, that was it. And what's more, I simply don't believe a person as gentle as you is capable of murder. Just the inciting of murder at best.
Simeon, me bucko, this guy'll suffer any hardship for your friendship. Things are gonna be shiply amazing.
I didn't realize Talk Like a Pirate Day had come early this year, Fender. Talk Like a Pirate Day honestly sounds exciting. I should start upholding that tradition beginning this year. Actually, it's no wonder Willie Scott hates elephants.
Play with? Your elephant nearly ate me. No way, she'd never do a thing like that.
For one thing, elephants are herbivores, so they only eat plants. Same with rhinos, despite Roald Dahl once writing a book where a rhino devoured 2 human parents. Don't ask.
There, sweetie, don't cry. She had a wonderful time, didn't you, Kay?
Don't mislead the poor girl, Fender!
She did? Oh, I'm so happy!
Even after a year's worth of absence from the series, considering events that took place before, she's still sunshine and rainbows.
I'm Kay, Great Thief Extraordinaire, and Mr. Associate Defense Attorney's Great Associate.
This self-introduction brought to you by the word convoluted. C-O-N-V-O-L-U-T-E-D. Convoluted. Adjective. Extremely complex and difficult to follow, or intricately folded, twisted, or coiled. Next week, we will learn the difference between bought and brought. For one thing, there's an R in brought, dang it!
Oh, she's not just any elephant. That's Asia, the Asian elephant.
That's racist.
Great Thief? That sounds like fun! My animals and I have stolen the spotlight quite a bit in our time. That's the one thing we don't want to steal. Gotta keep it on the down low. All stealthy ninja-like.
Says the girl who would later go on to talk about dramatic appearances for her heists.
But we have a new ringmaster now, and he's made the circus bigger and better than ever.
A stupid clown that's apparently good in other areas than making jokes.
And not just any story. It's a love story. Isn't that dreamy?
Sounds like a regular riot. So who's the star of the show? Let me guess. You?
No, silly. That would be Azia. And she falls in love with none other than Regin the Tiger. It's a heart-rending saga of forbidden interspecies romance.
Forbidden might be an understatement somehow.
Just leave it to us. He may not look it, but Mr. Edgeworth knows how to get things done.
And what exactly is he may not look it supposed to mean?
Are we talking about the same Miles Edgeworth here?
Danger. High voltage. I never saw one of these in real life.
Never? I mean, I guess you've seen danger signs at the Cadopian Embassy, but they didn't say high voltage, did they? Still, though, I'm not sure you haven't seen these signs before. Awful. I suppose you mean the prisoners were unruly?
I most certainly do not. They're angels, every one of them, and they always have been.
That's a freaking lie! Did she just kiss a live animal? Not only that, she kissed a live animal on the lips. Lady has a serious animal obsession problem.
Secret weapon number 1, my trusty old metal detector.
I thought that was secret weapon number 3.
Next up, secret weapon number 2, missile, everyone's favorite crime-fighting canine.
Hey, that's supposed to be secret weapon number 1. Also, before Gumshoe says some dumb crap about the fishing pole being secret weapon number 3, it's supposed to be number 2.
Gummy, you're 4 secret weapons short of your so-called 7, and one of them was a fishing rod.
Sorry, but that's all for today, okay? I'll, show you the rest next time.
But we only ever see one other secret weapon the whole game. Maybe even the whole series, unless that bug sweeper counts as one. But we still have no idea what those other 2 secret weapons are. So why the heck does Gumshoe even say 7?
I never would have pegged Mr. Canis as a chess fan, though. What with the whole Eastern aesthetic he's got going, I thought he'd be more into Go.
You sure? I think he'd be a bigger fan of Qiangqi. That's the Chinese variant of chess, by the way.
No, you can't have it. Dogs can't eat chocolate, you know that. If you won't behave, I'll just have to eat it myself. Not bad.
Well, that's one way to stop a dog from eating chocolate.
What breed were you again, Missile? Sure it wasn't a boxer.
Since Kay asked about breed, might as well answer that Missile is a Shiba Inu, a dog breed commonly used in Japanese law enforcement. Yeah, Japanese law enforcement. I guess America's caught on. Not that I remember ever interacting with a Shiba Inu myself.
Sir, I'll go get her. Oh, that's tight. Shouldn't have eaten that cake.
Fatty. Plastic forks and such, I see what the idea is, but what is that cup? And that saucer? What could a prison breaker use those for?
Yesterday, after you so kindly made us aware of the security camera footage.
But I didn't show you the footage yesterday. I showed it to you maybe 3 hours ago.
It is my belief that Mr. Saint helped Mr. Knight with his escape attempt. That is to say, he was his accomplice.
And then it led to murder. Why? You gonna explain that?
I still believe he had them. After all, the guards only stated that they were unable to locate them. And this is because they were cleverly hidden inside the pocket chest set.
But we would later examine the actual pocket chest set itself and still no keys. How can you possibly claim this?
My position is the same as it was yesterday. Until you can explain how the dog moved between the prison and the detention center, I cannot accept your theory into evidence.
You said that 3 hours ago, not yesterday. Why is she constantly saying yesterday? It's the same freaking day.
In the name of the goddess of justice, overruled! Mr. Edgeworth, you are out of line!
How so, Your Honor? Look, I love this game series, and the interjection lines are among the many elements of the series you can't imagine it without. But Gavel's overruled line is overused and often at very inappropriate times. This is just one of many examples. All Edgeworth did is ask how his statements were out of line. You can't just overrule the question and answer it at the same time.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, you ever get this on your report card? Refuses to listen, must learn to respect others.
Are you asking me or confessing to what's on yours?
Whew, sick burn, bruh.
The dog! He hasn't made a sound today!
Except for the sounds he made 5 hours ago to chase you out.
I can hardly believe it. But I think I know where he hid the murder weapon!
And you just went and laid it out for me. So Helmut's been keeping the chisel in his mouth this whole time, yet during that time he could still lick his master's face? Did Canis teach him that along with wiping up blood?
Yes, it was but one of my bows. One of only two in existence.
Just two?
Two and only two. One for my knife and one for my beloved Helmut. Exquisitely crafted, utterly unique. My ears are my guide after all, and I must be able to use my tools precisely. Of course, as you said, the knife has long since been taken from me.
Then obviously the bell from the knife had gotten onto the chisel somehow. Because that knife is in police custody now, and with the chisel as the currently determined murder weapon, I feel like that should be enough to exonerate Simeon, because how could he have gotten the bell from the knife onto the chisel? Unless that's explained, there's really no cause to accuse him. Also, just the same, it should be enough to prove Canis' innocence, because I doubt even Helma could have gotten the bell for him, nor would Canis have wanted him to.
Introducing secret weapon number 4, Lil V.
That sounds like the name of a crappy rapper, or a ca-rapper.
Alright, want me to talk you through how to use it, sir?
Seeing as I'm not exactly familiar with video analysis techniques, perhaps I should hear him out.
Why is he giving me the option? Obviously, this is a new thing I'm not familiar with because while we have analyzed video before, Lil V is different in terms of functionality. Of course we should have Gumshoe explain how this fancy device works.
The panels on the left and right let you rewind or fast forward. And you can use the middle one to pause.
Completely pointless information unless you're playing on PC because the Switch version, which I'm playing, doesn't support touch control. I'm sure the footage is slowed down a little V from when we view it on the security footage to make it easier for the player to analyze, but what's the in-universe reason for this?
Sir, look!
I'm pretty sure that should be Gumshoe's line, yet the tag says Edgeworth. If Edgeworth really is saying sir, he would have been saying it to Gumshoe. The person in the security footage is the only character to have a bear accompany him, and that same character keeps appearing when thinking over the situation.
If it was taken right after he applied the mud pack treatment, it should have been around 9 a.m.
In which case, something isn't right about the footage.
Really? And what's that?
What new contradiction does the security footage introduce relative to when it was recorded? What could possibly answer a time-related contradiction better than, well, the time recorded within the footage?
Fine. You want keys? Here, I hope you choke on them.
You may as well just stick them in our mouths if you're gonna say that.
Where did we come across a sweet scent before?
Gee, it's almost like we have to read the court record to answer that.
Darlings, please, there is nothing to be alarmed about. By which I mean that is not an alarm. It's the dinner bell. Although I suppose it is rather alarming if you aren't used to it.
What kind of dinner bell sounds like a siren, even in a prison?
The lock's broken, and from the looks of it, it's been broken for a long time.
Really? Because when we go close up, that lock doesn't look broken.
So, what shall we do while we're waiting for Gummy? How about a quick game of hide-and-go-seek?
And solely my fancy Von Karma-esque suit? No thanks.
Whoa! Screens appearing from thin air? This is some next level tech, little sis.
I'll say, these screens aren't projected on a wall. That does sound highly advanced, doesn't it? Not even holograms can compare. Allow me to explain. This is Mr. Thief. It's a device that can recreate crime scenes at specific moments in time based on the data you feed it.
How about I start us off with a recreation of what the yard looked like yesterday?
Should I take it that Kay didn't notice Edgeworth butchering the name of her fancy gadget yet again? It's a metal weight of some kind. It looks like it weighs... the projection makes it a little tricky to read. Yeah, I'm calling it. Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice featured Edgeworth wearing glasses. It actually makes perfect sense why. Both investigations titles indicate Edgeworth's eyesight getting worse. I'm just spitballing here because I can read 30 pounds just fine.
I'm so sorry, you guys. It's all because I let Simeon do everything by himself.
Oh, no. It's all my Philly associates' fault.
Objection, Fender. Objection! Speak up, Mr. Edgeworth! A cart filled with apples for the elephant had been emptied. There's hardly any other conclusion that could possibly exist. Detective, I have need of one of your secret weapons.
Roger that!
The metal detector, if you would be so kind.
Oh, jeez. I'm never gonna get to use my fishing rod.
Don't fret, Gumshoe. If, and that's a big if, you're brought back for Race Attorney 7, maybe the writers can find you a chance. For the first, and probably only time in Ace Attorney history, we get to take control of Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yay!
Alligator?
Why are we being surprised by the alligator's appearance again? The weight dropped down the well in place of the iron weights was a corpse that apparently weighs 150 pounds, considering that we found 5 iron weights, each weighing 30 pounds. Also, you're really telling me one of these ropes was strong enough to hold 150 pounds worth of steel without breaking?
Warden Lagarde is the only one with a key?
Meaning if somebody did open the door, they would have had to get it from her somehow. Or maybe the warden herself had something to do with the crime.
Did they turn off the power to something?
Did they turned off?
First on the scene, the early bird wins the worm.
Good morning, Mr. Winter.
What? You? How'd you get here before me?
I know Eustace is an idiot by no fault of his own, but even he couldn't have failed to notice the grown man and his friends there in the yard.
The victim appears to have died the night before the body was discovered. In other words, the night before the show. The cause of death is as stated. It seems the wound is 4 inches deep.
Or, in more accurate terms, just a few hours before we discovered his body in the workshop.
Yeah, it is pretty sus.
Dang it, Capcom, why'd you have to localize this game so late? Now 2020's fellows are gonna have quite a time with this line.
I would recommend that you take care in how you treat me during my stay here. I wouldn't want to have to set my dogs on you, or your precious family.
Those should sound like empty threats if he's kept in maximum security, but Kana sure has methods for a blind guy if it worked.
Once a week, late at night, Ricky would shut off the breakers. That allowed me to go from my office into the yard without being seen by the cameras.
And that happens every week, late at night? Granted, most of the inmates would already be asleep by the time it happens, but you're telling me no one noticed the pattern until now? And if they have, what kind of answer was given for the power outages? If it happens periodically every week, it can't just be coincidence.
Are you objecting to my adjourning this session?
No. Would have shouted objection if I wanted to do that.
Semantics. If he was convicted of committing murder here, that could have been grounds for a transfer to another prison, most likely a more secure facility. But because Canis hit the chisel with his bell stuck to it, Simeon became the suspect instead. But even still, there was less grounds to suspect Simeon than to suspect Canis.
Because all the other children in my little home are absolute sweethearts. They have faith in themselves and one another. They have faith in the guards, in me, and they work hard every day to better themselves. None of them would dare commit murder.
Except maybe Rocco Carcerado. You surmise that Knight was Mr. Canis' henchman sent to kill you by getting himself arrested for an attempted assassination that actually turned out to be staged?
Riddle me this, Mr. Edgeworth. How does a tiny chisel make a 4-inch wound?
That didn't stop you from claiming Canis used the chisel on Knight.
Alas, we must wait until the trial to see this matter resolved, I'm afraid.
Oh, come on, G. You're just giving a killer a chance to destroy the evidence.
Maybe, but that didn't stop the man in the blue suit from pulling the biggest turnabouts of the century in court.
When you find yourself on the ropes, think of your client. Picture them pleading with you to help them. Doesn't that make you want to fight back as hard as you can to the very end?
All it took for Edward to think back to what the real murder weapon could be is this pep talk from Kay and Bender. What is with the colors going inverted in these parts? Why make us think the chisel was the real murder weapon, rather than whatever was really used? One of the options is to suggest the idea to transfer a dead man. Also, if you wanted us to suspect Canis, you shouldn't have tied the bell around the chisel fabricated as the murder weapon. These particular bells are unique, because there are only 2 of them in existence.
What?
Did you not know that? How would you not know that? You might recall that Mr. Canis hid this chisel in his dog's mouth. Would you believe that the real murder weapon was hidden in much the same way? After giving me a not exactly subtle hint to where the real weapon was hidden? Yeah, that's right. The murder weapon is hidden inside the alligator in that pond over there. What a convoluted way to hide a murder weapon in these specific circumstances. All she had to do was take it back to her office and clean off the blood. That weapon is kept as evidence anyway, and with her position as warden, no one's questioning the knife anyway. What do you mean that big fur coat was a bunch of live foxes? Considering all the running around that took place to get everything needed during the investigation of the yard, I'm a little surprised that it only took 2 hours and 22 minutes since beginning the investigation to arrest Lagarde. It's just like you said, sir. Congratulations on a stunning victory. And whatever happened to my deductive reasoning? Poster shows Maximilian Galactica as one of the star attractions, but he never shows anywhere in this game.
Alright, Simeon, we've got some training to do. I think it's time you and Regent got acquainted.
What? Regent the tiger? No way! I can't! No!
One of your co-stars? You're kidding, right?
Hey, pal, don't get any big ideas. Mr. Edgeworth ain't about to switch sides.
Why not? Coming over to the light side's all the rage. Everybody's doing it these days.
Poor, sweet, innocent Fender. He doesn't know what awaits the legal profession 18 months from now.
Samson
and Judy's Bake and Bop.
Macarons, waffle with cream, chiffon cakes that a lot is a dream.
Now, throughout most of Ace Attorney Investigations 2, I'm not usually going to make comparisons to the fan-translated version because 1, I haven't exposed myself to that much the fan-made version, and 2, there's really no point in doing that. Capcom has finally given us an official English localization of the game 13 years after its initial release in Japan. The fact that it took so long kind of made it inevitable that fans would translate the game for those who don't speak Japanese. Now, first order of business, what's up with this title? In the fan-translated version, the culinary show that's the center of attention in the Inherited Turnabout, as it's called there, is Piece of Cake, which fits the culinary theme the show is going for, but the show wasn't just a culinary show for kids. It was a musical culinary show for kids. They cook while singing and dancing. The original title of the show in Japanese is Dance Sweet, mixing the words dance and sweet. Thank Capcom for Bacon Bop. The second order of business in regards to the show is the theme song. It flows perfectly fine in the official translation by Capcom, but then take a look at the fan-made version. It looks more like they directly translated the lyrics from Japanese. I can't really confirm it myself, but that's exactly what it looks like. You can at least put effort into making it rhyme. I'm not kidding. I haven't found a single rhyme in the fan-made version of this theme song. Not even one. Now, let me make something clear, both of these sins aren't about how the fan-made version handles the translation to English, because the official translation is my real focus here. The reason for these sins is because it took Capcom 13 years to give us not only a proper title to fit both important elements of the show, but also proper lyrics to said show's theme song.
It was 18 years ago, smack dab in the middle of a real doozy of a winter. The buildings were covered with a blanket of snow. Looked like the streets were lined with popsicles.
In Los Angeles, California? Does that sound right to anyone? Believe me, I live in California, and in my area, which is in a county adjacent to Los Angeles, I haven't seen any snowfall in that particular county, or even Los Angeles. I'd be much more willing to believe the idea of snowfall in the English localization of Ace Attorney if it wasn't set in California.
My name is Gregory Edgeworth. I'm a defense attorney.
Let me guess, Fender's reading most of this out of Gregory's diary. No, not Gregory Heffley, because he calls it a journal.
A murder on Christmas Eve? What's the world coming to?
You think that's bad? Try a terrorist attack on Christmas Eve.
Macarons, waffles with cream, chiffon cakes that a lot is a dream.
Laugh and sing, smile, it's true. All that sweetness waiting for you.
I feel like it would have been a proper courtesy for Samson to sing the first part and have Fender sing Judy's part. I mean, after that first stanza, the whole thing goes like normal, with Samson singing his lines and Fender doing the rest. But still, first stanza is a complete role reversal.
What? The sauce is cold.
Yes, it's so that the tea cools down more quickly, I'm afraid. Some of our guests don't like it too hot.
I wonder how this line went in the Japanese version. Much the same? Because if there's something I learned from the Great Ace Attorney, the Japanese have a little saying, drink tea while it's hot.
The fans on the scene already. That was fast.
Oh, buddy, you don't know the half of it.
The detective in charge is named Bad, a man of few words.
Funny, because Bad's not the corrupt one behind IS-7.
Seems she heard something breaking and came in to see what it was.
You'd think we'd immediately have it figured out what broke just looking at the scene, but no, the game's not that simple. So they can print pictures in color in 2000, yet in 2016, 2018, it seemed we only got black and white photos. Even in 2026, there were still photos in black and white.
I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention.
Like father, like son, leaves me double the duty to scour the footage and send every uttering of this line, whether father or son.
Every single item in this room is edible.
Even I'm edible, but that would be cannibalism, which is generally frowned upon in most societies.
What can you tell us about her?
Ruthless, brutal. There's nothing she wouldn't do to win.
Sounds like a certain prosecutor I know.
It's a real head scratcher, alright.
Not really. I'm guessing her was wore gloves.
Aw, where's your sense of romance, of adventure?
There doesn't tend to be much of either at a crime scene, Eddie.
Gregory Edgeworth would be amazing at CinemaSins. Oh, how nice of you, game, giving us a piece of evidence we're never going to present this whole episode.
Which is why he deliberately didn't lock his room. And why he smashed in the lid of the treasure chest, so the body was on full display.
I feel like that kind of loud noise would make it easy for someone to walk in on you setting up the crime scene the way described.
I wonder just how old she is.
How mysterious could Delicious Scone be so that her age isn't even listed in the court record?
Your job is to lose to me and disappear, never to show your sniveling face again.
No, my job is to fight back against your ugly butt and make the case I need. Whether I win or lose, I'll still be a defense attorney. Don't tell me how to run my career regardless of status. I will take that crap to my grave, even if you force me into said grave.
You have a son, Mr. E?
I do. He's still in elementary school, and yet he'd rather read a statute book than a fairy tale. I can't help but worry that his interests will make it hard for him to make friends.
Give it 3 months, Gregory. He'll stand up for someone who's accused of stealing his lunch money and also befriend the real thief.
2 big rock crystals. Looks like somebody was using the council for storage.
Did they just type the word "the" twice? Did they momentarily bring in Porky Pig for the localization script? Nah, he would have typed the word "the" way more times.
She really opened up the moment we started talking about her trinkets.
Please don't ask the fans to take lines out of context.
Thank you ever so much, Paddykins, and you, Officer Lovely.
She's even given nicknames to the forensics guys now.
I guess it's her way of showing that she cares.
So, what about this is supposed to be relaxing exactly?
Oh, don't be a big sourpuss, Paddy B. The fun's only just beginning. Officer Lovely, you can switch it on now.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank goodness. I was worried about what kind of sordid scene may have been taking place under cover of a black screen.
Is it Mr. Von Karma? Did something happen between you two?
Why, yes. Nothing's happened at all.
But you just said yes.
Tee-hee-hee, that was a hello yes. Oh, you silly boy.
The British language is confusing.
And where was this afternoon tea served?
Oh, out in the garden, of course. There's a lovely little one just outside.
Out in the freezing, snowy cold?
But today, only me, Samson Sillypants, and Moody Judy were there for it. Sammy Poople had already finished his big creation, so he was there the whole time.
Okay, are you calling him Samson Sillypants or Sammy Poople? Pick one and stick with one.
I didn't want poor Sammy Poople getting upset, so it was just the teeniest bits and pieces.
Yeah, the teensiest bits and pieces. Sure.
And the stand holding up the ship? You took a bite out of that too, I suppose.
Oh, yes, dear, of course I did.
Why? Why would you taste the stands as holding up a giant chocolate ship? Why not just taste the ship itself?
Temperature 68 degrees.
Oh, come on, Ace Attorney. There's only one instance I can name so far of you going all out and using the number 69, and that's in the middle of the credits for Trials and Tribulations. Every other time it's 68. Where's your sense of adventure? I think it would already be safe to assume the cream is runny because it's too warm. Hardly logic-worthy pieces, honestly.
What? So none of this is confectionery art after all?
No, it's simply made to look like candy, with the cream having been added to let it an air of authenticity.
I know Judy helped Scone get to the finals, but how much is actually sampled each round before moving on to the next contestant? Surely Samson would have noticed something strange long before now, even if he does have a taste disorder.
How old is she really, though? That's what I'd like to know.
It's not polite to speculate on a person's age, Eddie.
You mean a woman's age? Specifically a woman. That's important.
Would you like to hear a favorite expression of mine?
I'll listen once you add an S to expression, please.
Miss Scone, why didn't you tell us your stuff was confiscated by Mr. Tangaroa?
Dear, Mannequin said that if I spilled the beans, I'd end up being the one under suspicion.
Mr. Von Karma said that?
And he wasn't wrong now, was he? You two accused me yourselves a second ago.
But that was before it was revealed your non-confectionery items were confiscated. Why not try to live in the now? That was a huge info dump in the span of just 10 minutes. What, was Fender just giving Edgeworth the short version?
Well, what with the ice sculptures vanishing, things hit a bit of a rough patch. So rough, in fact, that it took a full year before they could even reach a verdict.
A year?
This was back before they brought in the whole initial trial thing. You didn't have to finish up in double quick time like you do nowadays.
True, but a whole year still sounds lengthy for a case like this. Look to the left. Do you see two familiar faces? And to the right, does Sean usually dress like this, or did he not get out of his costume yet, especially considering the fact that the Tarsaurus reboot is still being filmed at this moment? According to the pamphlet, the winter wing is kept at a constant 27 degrees. Makes sense to preserve the ice, but surely you can still do that while keeping the room itself at a reasonable temperature. I mean, the sculptures are all display cases, right? I can't imagine controlling temperature of the cases themselves to be too tricky. Also, with that in mind, Fender really should have prepared for the cold temperature. Instead, it's his usual brown shirt and no coat. That's less protective wear than he had as an 18-year-old. Please don't do that again. I don't like having my picture taken. Which is funny because he didn't have any issue getting his picture taken at the end of Turnabout Goodbyes. Come to think of it, something almost like this happened at the end of Investigations 1. I say almost because the way Fender did it was more sneaky. Is it less the fact that he's getting his picture taken and more he was caught off guard, or is there something more? True, Fender and Edgeworth ran out of the winter wing, but it wasn't even much distance. Why is Edgeworth already panting? Even though her secret's out that Scone is actually a pharmacist, not a confectioner, why is she still dressed like a confectioner? Thank you for the dance. Can we get moving?
I call it the medical room, but it's nothing quite so grand, of course.
Who cares if it's not grand? If it's for helping people recover from illness or injury, it's a medical room. It gets the job done.
No way! Gummy almost looked like a real detective.
When does he not look like a real detective?
I checked the temperature. It's 26.5 degrees in here, sir.
Why is the autumn wing being kept at the same temperature as the winter wing? It's not. It's 0.5 degrees colder. I have some questions for you, Larry.
What the? How am I a suspect?
I love this episode. In fact, it's probably my favorite in all of Ace Attorney, but I never liked how quick Larry was to jump to the conclusion that he's being suspected of the crime just because he's being questioned about it. I don't remember him being like this in Turnabout Goodbyes. The worst we got was, nothing criminal about listening to the radio, dog. When something smells, it's usually the bots. We've been saying that about Larry for 26 years now. Straight from the womb, huh? No, seriously, every other time Larry appears in the court record, he's always 1 year younger than Phoenix and Edgeworth. This is a case where he's now the same age, placing his birthday between March 15th and April 2nd, 1993.
Fine! Then I won't say another word!
Anyone who says this immediately breaks their promise afterward. Take that, logic train, you've been derailed again! One of the topics is to tell Larry to screw off, even though we're supposed to continue questioning him to capture his queen. What did you see in the winter wing, Larry?
You don't let up, do you? I told you, I didn't see anything.
Larry didn't exactly have incentive to lie about that, especially since when Edgeworth and Fender ran out into the fountain room, the first thing we see is Larry having stumbled in front of a collapsed Gusto. That's how we knew he had inhaled the poison gas after all. Though I guess it was more about the freaky statue in the room than the victim. Still, no reason to lie about it. Now that I think about it, why is the room all the way on the right called the autumn wing and not the winter wing? Going clockwise, the seasons were going in consistent order from spring, summer, then winter, and lastly autumn.
Ah, look at you, tucking it carefully into your organizer.
I simply thought I might have a use for it later. Maybe in the bathroom. What? I thought Edgeworth was more dignified than that. Was the stepladder already like that when you entered? Not stepladder to ladder! Rawr!
I pray one day to make you see that your presence is not required at every crime scene.
Hey, take over the case, but don't make it sound like it's my fault I was here when a crime took place.
What did you say? A suspect? Already? Who?
Who else but your artist friend over there?
Gosh dang it, Larry! It's only been 2.5 weeks and you're getting accused again?
Unsurprising that you lack the attitude to understand the winning mindset.
Lack the attitude? Something tells me he doesn't know the real winning turn of phrase.
Well put, Eustace. Mr. Edgeworth does indeed lack a certain aptitude.
Hello? I completely quashed his case last time?
It was, it's this chemical you find everywhere. Can't think of the name right now, though. Wait there a second. Let me just call him real quick.
Perhaps I can answer your question while Eustace is on the telephone.
Why let him make the call if you know the answer?
So he can slip up on the details like the idiot he is and I can correct him on that?
The gas was created by mixing two specific chemicals, ubiquium and asphyxion.
What's that, painters and pharmacists in the crowd? Have you never heard of either of those chemicals in your life? Are you sure your college taught you well in your field?
Think I might have left my heart there, you know. And you might have picked it up.
Larry, you already have a girlfriend. You know, Lulu, the one you were paying the Gemini statue for? Perhaps it's your own aptitude you should be worrying about.
My aptitude? What does that even mean?
You literally used the word 5 minutes ago.
Only because Gavel corrected him when he said attitude. Larry, you claim to be something of a painter. I imagine you have some experience mixing colors. What happens when you mix red with white?
Don't treat me like I'm a dumb Edgy. I did graduate from junior high, you know.
Temper. I wonder just how old she is. Hey, you're not the only one. She looks not a day older than 18 years ago. Might I ask what you mean by you-know-whats?
Little blighters that frighten the life out of poor innocent ladies like yours truly. That's what. Oh, ghastly little creatures running around people's nice clean kitchens and terrorizing them.
Never before have I met a woman so afraid of rats that she wouldn't even mention the species by name.
Turns out the sculpture's glass display case is open from the top.
Huh. That's rather unusual.
And the temperature inside can be adjusted too, all the way down to 0 degrees.
Oh, so there is a way to control temperature in the display cases. With that in mind, what's the point of having the overall temperature in the room itself set so low?
You beat me to the answer by a second! But we'll see who wins in the end.
Don't try and tell me you nearly had it. You didn't have a clue.
Nuh-uh! It was Edgeworth making things hard to understand!
Really? I was under the impression I was explaining my reasoning in the simplest way possible. Do try to keep up, Mr. Winner.
The man was going to end it all! A dramatic, exit stage left, story of an artsy-fartsy.
Farewell! Oh, please, don't make it sound as though you had any clue Ubiquium could possibly mix with any asphyxiant. How could he know? Oh, you weren't even going to stick with that stupid theory anyway? Well, then why the deuce did you even make it? April 1st, complaint filed. Offense, theft. Item stolen, Infesticide Ultra, 1 bottle. It's a crime report relating to a theft.
A what?
See, you silly billies. I told you someone pinched it off me. A week ago, no less.
Yet the complaint was filed yesterday. Even with all that was going on with Skull being brought to the Autumn Wing, it felt a bit quicker than an hour and a half. Just saying.
What?
Did?
Huh?
Say! Eustace is so dumb he completely ruined the sentence chain. No, we may not be able to investigate the Winter Wing as hoped. Whoa, slow down, game. It's not Zodiac Hall yet, therefore to call that particular room the Winter Wing in 2000 would be wrong. And actually, in 2019 it'd still be wrong. Frost's room where the ice sculptures were made didn't become the Winter Wing. That honor went to Scone's room. You're making the same mistake Gusto and Fender would make 18 years later.
Mr. Tangaroa sure is a lucky guy. Getting to eat homemade sweets whenever he wants by the one and only Judy Bounce sounds amazing.
If they're working together already, I'm not sure it has anything to do with luck.
Then why don't I take your picture?
Yes! Come on, Mr. E! Let's get a shot at it, both of us!
Well, alright then. It would be a shame to waste a good hair day. Both you and Fender are wearing hats. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Those sculptures were beautiful. What a waste.
You can say that again. Oh, I should have taken a few more bites out of them when I had the chance.
No, the heck you shouldn't have.
His initials, huh? So if I'd made it, it would say EF?
Perhaps you should practice by initialing your personal belongings first. Really? I'm pretty sure there'd be an even bigger concern if his first name started with A, if you know what I mean.
PH. Shouldn't it be AF?
Gosh dang it, Bad.
Oh no! Samson, what did they do to you?
They didn't seem to want to let me sleep.
So your hair turned completely white in less than 24 hours?
Feel them melt, soft and smooth.
What is this, Ace Attorney the Musical? What parent wouldn't want their child to walk their own path? A narcissistic butthole who raises someone else's kid after murdering his parent to hate the very profession said dead parent once had. The victim's blood was mysteriously absent, as was part of the chocolate chest it had pulled on. I believe that the blood probably belonged to the person we just talked about having been dead in the chest.
The connection between Gusto and Frost? It was simply a matter of coincidence. They both happened to be taking part in the same contest.
That has to be the shortest testimony I've ever heard. You might as well just ask me to present the evidence to prove the connection. No need for the cross-examination.
Besides, even amateurs can occasionally make delicious food. Perhaps Frost was simply lucky. My wife, for example, is an amateur whose cooking puts first-class chefs to shame.
I wonder how his wife would react to the fact that these conflicting descriptions were put in the same sentence.
I haven't seen the autopsy report yet either. Guys probably got a hand on that too.
Where's the green text? Why is it not here?
A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing.
Okay, this is worse. That red text there, it should be green.
My job is to identify suspects and ensure that every last one of them is convicted at all costs.
So you admit that the rumors are true?
No matter how you try to hide the truth, I'll bring it all to light in the end!
And if I don't, I'm sure my prosecutor's son will do it for me.
Wait, you mean they forced a confession out of him?
Past tense, Kay! Past tense!
I should have left with him that day. I'll always blame myself for not doing that.
I don't know, man. I feel like you being there with Gregory that day would have made things worse. I mean, he was stuck in an elevator with his son in a hysterical bailiff with no oxygen for 5 hours before Von Karma took out his anger on the attorney he faced that day.
We do not need to do anything, and you do not need to know the truth. This case is none of your concern.
If you know the IS-7 incident, then you should also know that I'm the son of the defense attorney in that trial. So yes, it is my concern. How could you say it's not?
See, I was on the defense team for IS-7, so this case is very much my concern.
She wasn't talking about you, she was talking about me. For literally no reason at all other than the father of little baby Winter, I guess.
Your connection to the case is noted, Mr. Fender, but I fail to see how it concerns Mr. Edgeworth.
Probably because my father was a defense attorney, which is something you yourself had to have known if you know IS-7.
Hello there, dearie. Still investigating away, are ya? You found anything interesting?
No, dearie. Well, nothing much anyway.
Oh, silly girl. That wasn't a dearie moment. That was more of a lambkin. Sweetheart is when you're being sympathetic, of course. Treasure is when they're in a tiz. Love is people you're not that keen on, and petal use when you're trying to get someone's attention.
The British language is confusing. The tablecloth draped over the card is pure white and completely spotless.
And it's just waiting for me to grab it by the edge, clear my mind, and...
Kay, I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea that would be.
Oh, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
More broken pottery than just the one spilled on the floor?
Quit being mean about Judy's tea, will you?
What's gotten under your skin, Larry?
Nothing. You're just rude, that's all.
Not only was Edgeworth not being rude, that was no way to react. Even if Larry didn't want Judy to know he had broken a teapot, he could have just not been so jumpy, like he shouldn't have been since Trials and Tribulations. Good gosh, Larry.
I broke the teapot, a priceless work of art. It's in pieces because of me.
No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming from.
Ouch! You really messed up this time, Laurice.
See, Edgy, everyone's gonna think less of me now.
I already do for that freak out you had when I talked about the tea.
I don't have any money, but I'll paint your portrait. I'll paint you 50 portraits.
Just as long as they're sanitary portraits. You know what I mean, shut up.
What kind of business? That's right, it was the hiding the pieces of the teapot I smashed kind.
Okay, but what are you gonna do about the tea stain on the carpet? Someone is going to find that no matter what you do. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue.
Light blue? I'm afraid your friend must be mistaken.
Why does Capcom think white and light blue, especially at this shade, looks similar enough for it to be easy to mix the two up? I ask this because both this episode and Turnabout Beginnings had this in common. I don't think even Larry could make that mistake.
That must be where the minty aroma is coming from.
Again, not a single green in that line, yet there's logic.
Anything for you, Milesy Smilesy, and dear sweet little tooth decay.
I'd appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Milesy Smilesy.
I'm not a fan of tooth decay, either.
Well, you just have to like it or lump it. I can't change a nickname once I've settled on it.
Isn't it a courtesy not to use a nickname that someone doesn't like? So the cloth that disappeared 18 years ago, the one that the victim was wrapped in, just happens to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body. Just happens to reappeared. Cold Killer X fights back sniffles and sneezes with ease, apparently. Can also be poisoned by your Cold Killer X.
She even got the ultimate cookbook back from the Tangaroa group after they basically stole it.
I'm pretty sure Samson was the one doing the stealing if he was going against the wishes of the Tangaroa group by using it as a prize for some confectionery contest. I do all that investigative work and questioning in the fountain room, which I'd estimate would take about 45 minutes to an hour, but the game wants me to believe it's just 23 minutes.
Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why traces of ubiquium were found in your teapot?
I had no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it's one of the ingredients in the dishwashing soap I use?
Are you saying you didn't know ubiquium was in the soap, or you didn't think about it while scrubbing the teapot?
But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that, and the fact that he triggered it himself, wouldn't it point to it being a suicide attempt?
That depends on where he'd get the asphyxiant. Also, if he wanted to attempt suicide, he had many other ways to do it. He had no reason to choose a method so complicated.
Yes, I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made.
Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that. And when it puts us back to the testimony, we have to scroll to the new statement. Why not just put us there right away? Under theft, it says the statute of limitations is 7 years, but in California, it shouldn't be any more than 3 years. Also, like the first main game, 15 years is the statute of limitations for murder, but in America, murder doesn't have a statute of limitations. It may look like a sculpture at first glance, but it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse. You mean we've been standing near a corpse the whole time we were in the Winter Wing? That That's so chilling! Pun intended!
Well, Shirley, you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Miss Bound's serving cart? What about it?
You don't see it? She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn. But what about that blue glow under the white tablecloth? Wouldn't the luminous cloth have to be plugged in to light up? Does it run on battery backup?
And then I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play.
But what exactly went wrong other than right now? Oh, I know, the investigation after all, the gas cleared. Little baby winner. If things had gone according to plan, the whole suicide theory that Eustace was quick to dismiss would have been the general consensus. But even so, an investigation of the case, the statue was kept and revealed signs of ubiquium on the underside of the lid. If the prosecutorial committee didn't want things on the down low, there'd probably be questions about the suicide theory. For example, it's possible Gusto knew mixing the two chemicals was deadly, but how would he know there'd be ubiquium at the scene?
There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth.
How so exactly?
By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs. That's how.
How funny you talk about bending the truth when that's exactly what you're doing, albeit under duress, but you're still doing it.
I wanted to see Frost work up close, so I went up to the Gemini. Sorry, yes, it was supposed to be the Bicey statue, and I saw that the lid was frozen on tight. So I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it.
I hope you realize how suspicious that sounds, right?
Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining.
What is with some of these logic lines not having green text? For Gusto's last chess piece, his opening suddenly changes. It used to be when he's meditating, but once he's down to just his queen, it's when he's in a deep sweat. When he's shaken up without warning. I take that back. He does do the meditating sometimes. Pick a tell!
As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight to Zhongfa to start my training and cut off all ties with the kid for good.
Your own son, of course. It wouldn't be an Ace Attorney game if it didn't feature a crappy father.
And that ain't the half of it. No one knows where he is, even now.
Try the circus. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the lyre so that it could be hidden inside the case. So when Delicious Scone went to taste Frost's sculpture, she was also tasting blood. That's almost as unnerving as the body being frozen within one of those cases for the past 18 years. Almost.
My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why.
Mind if I ask why that wasn't your first thought?
What's an omelet without a few eggs? Nothing, Mr. Prosecutor. Nothing.
It's only nothing if all eggs are intact. After all, doesn't the saying go, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs? If you spent 3 years in Zhengfa, and your accomplice, Samson Tangaroa, was on trial for 1 year, it means you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all. Statute ex machina. Also, with the time limit being extended to the suspect leaves the country, it brings to mind Manfred von Karma's downfall. It turns out, Phoenix probably had more time to take down von Karma than he knew, considering he took a vacation due to his injury. I say probably because I'm not sure whether or not said vacation entailed leaving the country, because it doesn't have to mean that. I only wish we could hand them to you.
Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later.
Which would be a clear breach of prison policy. But we're at the detention center, not the prison.
I've got a perfect puzzle for you.
Considering that this episode takes place in early April 2019, that moon shouldn't be a full moon. In fact, on April 5th, it's a new moon. The light of the moon is an important element of Kay's encounter with the man in the red raincoat, but such light should be impossible.
Are you listening, Mr. Edgeworth? I said I won't let you do this!
Really, Detective, there's no need to be so dramatic. Who knows? The next prosecutor you work with might be a little more lenient with your salary assessments. You know, like a 17-year-old rock star, maybe?
Red face, gritted teeth. Let's see.
I said we're busy.
Wait, that's it. Stomach cramps, right? No need to worry. It's nothing an injection won't cure. Now roll up your sleeve for me. It won't hurt much.
I'm pretty sure you have to run a complete diagnosis on the patient before you inject him with anything.
If he's from a hospital, maybe it's a patient? Someone you cut down to size with your trademark rapier wit?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
See, that right there, sir. When you glare at me like that, I lose the will to live.
Why do you glare R? Also, Gumshoe's got the flair for exaggeration. First the thought of Edgeworth killing Phoenix right there in the courtroom for Gumshoe to witness. Now suicidal thoughts from something as simple as Edgeworth glaring at him.
Her parents must be so worried about her. I bet they've only been getting around 8 hours of sleep each night. You gotta feel for them.
Do I, though? Because that's quite a lot of sleep, if you ask me. Isn't it a common recommendation for an adult to sleep 8 hours each night? I really don't see the issue here. Also, 8 hours is a huge underestimate. In the case of her father, at least, I'd say more 24 hours a night.
She's been like this since she came in yesterday.
So she's only been in the hospital for a day.
No way! That's amazing! How did you figure it out so fast?
Because you just told me? How else?
Look, it's me, Gummy. That's what you always call me.
Gummy? But you're an adult. That's so rude. I don't really call you that, do I? I'm so sorry. I can't believe I feel so guilty now.
What? What the heck happened to you? I've never seen you so polite. Being polite and sensitive is just not. Where's the Kay I know? You're nothing like her.
Gumshoe doesn't know how amnesia works. The letter and ticket stub are items of importance to the story, sure, but there's no point in the episode where you present either of these. But also, why does that ticket stub even exist if Kay never actually went on her own volition? Did Kay's abductor take it from a trash can or steal it from an actual paid customer? Because those are the only options that make any logical sense to me.
Oh, it's for the viewing platform at the top of the big building.
Big building? Was it built by an architect named Big, or did the architect have a different name and was just having an off day?
So according to this pamphlet, the big building's 50 stories high.
Except that would turn out to be false, in which case, why does the pamphlet say 50? I know the storeroom at the top floor is used for an illicit auction taking place in the building, but still. Ah yes, Amnesiac's memories that we're never going to present throughout this whole episode just written down the organizer. This old woman is the head of a hospital?
Don't you old fogey me, you dang reprobate.
Dang it, I was ready to remove a sin for how hilarious that thought bubble was. Thought bubble! Capcom, is Grady psychic? Elderly abuse. An enormous semicircular desk with seating for 11. It almost reminds me of a certain legend.
I know the one, sir. The Knights of the, brown table, right? Whoops, guess that wasn't it. The Newts of the brown table, the Knives of the brown stable,
The Knights of the Round Table, they dance whenever they're able. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. And I must scour the footage and send every uttering of this line.
This is quite the room. The big wooden boxes full of books. The big person carved out of stone. The sparkly window.
It seems you've forgotten the names of some everyday objects. Allow me, a 22-year-old man, ignorant in the ways of the mind, to ask how bad your amnesia needs to be for that to happen. Forgetting what a bookshelf is called, or a statue, or a stained glass window. I imagine it must have been a real bad bump on the head. Bookshelves.
Books? Elves?
Stained glass.
Stolen glassware.
Law books.
Law breaker.
Goddess statue.
Got this. Snatch too.
Is it just me, or are all her mistakes pointing in a certain direction? I get the pattern for all of them, except bookshelves? You were loudly claiming to be my assistant just the other day, Kay. The other day, as in the first time you two met in 7 years, and it kinda had to be that way since Gumshoe was forced to help Lang. Officer, tell me about the security arrangements for this room. Yes, sir. You need a special keycard to enter, sir. And the entries are kept on record, correct? In which case, all they'd have to do is check the keycard held on the victim's person in order to at least get a name. Maybe not definitive proof of the victim's identity, but you'd be getting somewhere at least, and not just judging her to be Kay based on some old notebook.
You know full well that I've been pursuing a certain smuggling ring.
Yeah, that Cadopian smuggling ring that's been run by an ambassador for one of the two separate countries. That issue had already been solved, I thought, unless you're talking about remnants of the smuggling ring somewhere here. Begin investigation? We didn't even get an investigation complete prompt before Franziska showed up. You there. What do we know about this notebook, officer? The victim was holding it when they found her, sir. It was the only thing with any kind of name on it at the time. Other than probably the keycard she was holding. Oh wait, the keycard itself doesn't have a name, but run a check on that thing, dang it!
It's a loyalty card! Probably from a store.
It's a keycard.
Oh, why, sir? Why?
Now you really wish that you knew how to read? Mind if I ask why it goes straight back to the zoom out view after I connect logic together, even if I did it while examining something up close?
I forgot to pay my electricity bill once a while back, and I had to live by candlelight for a whole month.
Who does that in this day and age? People who don't have battery backup lamps? And don't go dissing candlelight like that. Candlelight is dope. Also, you're one to talk about doing things ancient style when you still use an ancient style cell phone in 2019.
Step away from the body, Edgeworth.
10 steps ahead of you. Not only do Needler and Hertz just disappear from existence once they hit the left side of the screen, even them walking just on its own feels off. Like they're moving too quickly for the way they walk.
Anyway, that settles it. We need to arrest Kay Faraday.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Even contracting amnesia doesn't make her exempt from murder suspicion. That's the second time!
They call it the human race because somebody has to win it. And that somebody is me!
Yeah, you think you're the baby Jesus, get on with it.
I won this race too! I saw it before anyone else did! Kay Faraday is the murderer, no doubt about it!
You make it sound like you saw the murder take place, but that's not true at all. On top of working on the deductions themselves, you should also work on how to phrase your sentences.
What can I say? Winners know where winners go. I'm number 1, and 2, and 3!
In other words, the majority of your work is second, if not third rate.
Why do you have to always make fun of me?
You said it, not me.
There's only one side to be on, Scruffy. The side of truth.
I guess Franzie's learned at least. Yeesh, do his tears really flood that much of his goggles? With how much crying he does, I'm shocked he doesn't have dehydration issues.
Thank you for asking, sir. We have identified a prime suspect, 1K Faraday. We are currently trying...
You don't have nearly enough to make her your prime suspect, and you know it! Or have you forgotten what we just discovered about the letter?
I told you, that was just a mix-up! They got the wrong bucket. Yeah!
He's still clinging to that stupid notion? If being a prosecutor means I must turn a blind eye to the very truth before me, then I will gladly shed the title to be free. Just by playing Dual Destinies or Spirit of Justice, you would know that he won't be without that badge forever. Sadly, most Americans had no choice but to play Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice before playing this game. Unless, of course, they played the fan-made ROM for Investigations 2.
Are you running away from the Von Karma? From me?
Get over it, Franziska! I don't associate myself with Von Karma anymore!
Where you go, I go, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm always there, right by your side.
Not this time, Ruth. The sun sure set quickly. You're telling me, on April 5th, 2019, that didn't happen until 7:19 p.m. That's 37 minutes from the time stated there. In fact, at this time of the evening, I don't think it should be dark out yet. What am I standing here for? The Steel Samurai isn't on today! The Moon Matrix is gonna go wild when he talks about the Steel Samurai one of these days. I swear that's gonna happen.
Maybe I can help. How about an injection?
Please stop with the ejections!
Gimmickers, we take a normal serving of cotton candy and we split it in half. Part it if you will. Half candy, same price, double the profit. And we're laughing all the way to a bank.
Capitalism.
Good to see you, kiddo. Glad to see you safe. Come on, bring it in.
Okay.
Hey, that's the spirit.
Not now, Fender. I understand you're trying to look after Kay, especially in these current circumstances, but dude, we don't need you scolding right now.
As you can see, they're still hard at work up on the 50th floor.
As far as the public is concerned, the 50th floor is the top floor, but the second to top floor is the one that's illuminated. Shouldn't that be raising eyebrows even from the press? Yes, there appears to be a hidden 51st floor. Is there a 51st floor? Yeah, there's a 51st floor if the second to top floor is apparently the 50th floor, which the press just accepts, and there's a dark floor just above. The real question is, how do we get to the real top floor just below the viewing platform?
I could see the moon over their shoulder as they came closer and closer.
The way the game establishes the moon phases, yes, but like I said, on April 5th, 2019, the moon that was out at night was a new moon. A new moon does not provide light, meaning Kay should have been able to see the moon over her attacker's shoulder. How has no one noticed a floor between the 50th floor and the viewing platform until just now? How has no one noticed the fact that Edgeworth is speaking this in past tense, not present tense? But also, that's the freaking question I've been asking. Why did everyone think there was only 50 floors in the big building? Didn't you just leave to go back to Europe a few days ago? And you're back again already?
Yep, I'm here with one of my professors. But not to do any schoolwork or anything, just some interpreting.
So that's the only reason we have to see you 2 games in a row? Oh wait, scratch that. Apollo Justice came before the first investigation, so that would be 3 games in a row. For a character exclusive to a bonus case in the original trilogy, she sure shows up a lot elsewhere.
There's gotta be a light switch here somewhere. Ah, bingo!
Is there only one light switch in this room, and it's on the other side of the room? That was quite a ways for Fender to walk. Yes, we know about the hidden storeroom now, but are you updating what's already printed on a whole pamphlet? How? Not a fan of horror movies, I take it?
No way! That stuff's so unscientific.
I think you mispronounced terrifying. No, unscientific works too.
Which would mean the candelabrum was evidence from another case?
That actually makes me curious as to the particular other case. Is it for the body case? Was it used by Miss Scarlet in the study? Or perhaps Professor Plum in the kitchen? Maybe even Colonel Mustard in the billiard room? Maybe in Ace 27, a flashback will give us a clue.
The Nickel Samurai always seems kind of pleased with himself to me. You know what I mean.
Oh, Emma, you don't know the half of it. This statue. I'm surprised to see it too. I wonder how they managed to get such a huge statue into a storeroom with entrances so tight. My eyes! Stop that at once!
Ain't no stopping my snapping. Not till I get every dang detail and then some.
But aren't you worried about running out of exposures?
We're just here to investigate.
Sure you are. If by investigate you mean pull the wool over Lotta's mile-wide eyes.
Sure, if by pull the wool over Lotta's mile-wide eyes, it may talk not very discreetly about investigating the storeroom as you conveniently fall asleep as we do, only to wake up just as we were looking over the statue that was somehow hauled up here. It didn't hurt to try, I guess, but we're probably better off leaving her alone for now. No, the heck, I'm afraid we're not. We still haven't played a round of my chess this episode, and this is the perfect opportunity. But setting that aside for now, what's important is that we've discovered something vital to the case. Namely, that the underground auction was chaired by none other than our victim. And Kay apparently ran into the chairwoman and was attacked first. What? I'm just stating possible grounds for justified self-defense.
That's better. Being a news hound's all about keeping a cool head no matter what the world throws at you, see?
Says the woman who's quick to fiery rage over... things. I don't have anything to do with you? That's a little unkind, don't you think? Yeah, especially after you apologized for your testimony, which nearly landed me in jail, against my old mentor, no less. If you didn't hear the sound of nothing, does that mean you did hear the sound of something? Only Miles Edgeworth would use semantics to his advantage when speaking with a southerner about a murder in the area.
I'm just a dainty little journalist all on her lonesome. You think I was fixing to jump in and save the day?
That's right, you're only dangerous when it's to the inconvenience of innocent bystanders that went and done nothing wrong. How did you know it was the killer just by looking?
Because they're literally red-handed with blood. How else would that get there, huh?
Who else do we know has blood on their hand?
Wow, this is some sturdy construction. Thick floor plate, sturdy supports. At a rough estimate, I'd say it could hold 50 of you. Easily, Mr. Edgeworth.
What are you saying exactly? Edgeworth skinny?
Maybe somebody put something with blood on it in there?
I see the logic piece, but where's the green text in the queue line?
Now you just hold your horses there. There's no way the body could have been in there.
What do you mean?
I took a look at that there box when I first got in here. Looked to be just about the perfect size for a little hide-and-go-seek if the need arose. And maybe it would have been, if I could have opened it. But it was wrapped in chains and locked up tight. And I ain't no scam apologist. The murder happened just a little bit after I scoped it out. So can't nobody have put no body in there.
Or maybe they could have just by screwing with the chains a bunch, and they totally could have without you knowing about it, provided you weren't conscious the whole time. Lotta, you were conscious the whole time it happened, right? Given all the investigation and mind games taking place in that storeroom, it seemed to me like more than 37 minutes up there.
Double youch!
Was that supposed to happen as presented? Doesn't seem like it to me. It was like that in the DS version too. You'd think in the remaster they'd fix that, but nope.
Please, everybody, feel free to call me Celsius.
No thanks, I'm quite attached to Fahrenheit. Warned by the victim, true, but if we take the preliminary findings as fact, that means we've already spotted a contradiction. The puncture wounds on the body do not appear on the jacket, meaning she couldn't have been stabbed while wearing it. And don't tell me she put it on after the stabbing. I'm more than a little surprised that it wasn't brought up until the next day.
This court recognizes the legitimacy of the accused's memories.
What? But you said you didn't believe her like 5 minutes ago!
She's only believing her now because she confessed, dumb shoe.
You conducted an unlawful investigation. Worse, you aided and abetted the flight of a suspect.
Kay ran off on her own accord. I didn't think that would happen. And they stripped me of all the evidence we'd so painstakingly gathered, even if they did let me keep Kay's Yaragarasu pin. What for? I mean, yeah, the thing was bugged so the true mastermind of the game could listen in on everything, but nobody knew that. So after I was finished talking with Gavel, the story won't advance unless I first examine everything in my cell. I really don't see the point of this.
That reminds me of a movie I once saw. A prison inmate hatched a plot to escape by using a file to cut his cell bars. I won't be doing that, of course. For one thing, I don't have a file on me at the moment.
What am I saying? I wouldn't do it even if I did have one! What are you saying? Why switch from thought bubble to spoken? We regret to announce that, due to the warden's arrest, the Die of Destiny game will be discontinued. Inmates will no longer need to roll a die every morning to determine their meals for the day. We wholeheartedly apologize to those who are looking forward to their daily casting of the die. Who among any inmates, detention center, or prison would ever look forward to this whole Die of Destiny bullcrap?
Please, just leave it alone, will you? Things were coming along nicely until you interfered.
Is one of the options seriously to just concede? How much time was spent on your investigation altogether?
My, you really don't give up, do you?
That wasn't what he originally said if you choose to ask how much time was spent investigating before clearing the other option.
The arrest, you say? I believe the order was given by...
Come now, Chairman Winner, we both know it was you.
Alright, you got me. You make it sound like it was somehow a bad thing, though.
But it is a bad thing. What if the arrest was false, which we have been given much reason to believe that it is?
Knowing the real truth will get you nowhere, because that's how much it's worth. Nothing. Shocking, I know.
Just come out and say it, you're an evil piece of crap! Pretty much any other time the date and time are separated, it's always by a comma. Why here is it by a hyphen?
I hereby call this hearing to order. We are gathered here today to assess the professional competency of Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth.
This was phrased differently than it was in the opening, which on top of that just called him Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not Prosecutor. And yet here he's being referred to as Prosecutor despite the fact that he already turned in his badge by this point.
Precisely, Mr. Chairman. The killer dressed the victim in the auctioneer's outfit after the fact. But at the time when she was killed, Miss Ringer was wearing a red raincoat.
So the proposition is that Kay killed Ringer, then took off her red raincoat and put the auctioneer's clothes on her? When would the committee propose she had the chance to do that if she contracted amnesia somewhere in between?
If, and this is purely hypothetical of course, you were to withdraw your objections, you might wake up tomorrow to find yourself the proud owner of a seat on this committee.
What makes Excelsius believe Edgeworth gives a crap about that?
What are you talking about? Who dies from a hand wound?
That depends. Maybe the hand got infected? Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds to the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in that area? And yet, there was blood only on the hood. Moreover, not a single hole in the raincoat. That's what I'd bring up. To case suspicion on Kay, of course. Why else? I hate to be that guy, but it's cast, not case. You would never commit a murder. You could never. Because this is who you really are. The symbol of her noble nature. This pin. This journey of self-rediscovery may not yet be complete, but I realize at this moment, it couldn't be any more poignant.
You're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not. And I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. Just see how I am in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. Ah! Kay!
What's wrong? Did you remember something?
It'd be like some cliche movie plot if she did.
Who cares, as long as it's riveting? What else does this latest revelation tell us? Once again, giving us two complete nonsense options given what we gathered, leaving us with only one answer that makes sense.
Thing is, that don't add up. I counted 11 people coming down that hatch, see? Then the murder happened, and then the auction started back up again. Now, I had me a look back downstairs right after that.
Yeah, downstairs.
The auctioneer's hammer?
That's the bunny!
Nice try, game, but this isn't the first Ace Attorney game I played in my life. I know that's just the judge's gabble from the original trilogy.
What other explanation could there be for the discrepancy in your report?
We ask about a discrepancy in the report, but we don't talk to her about it until the opportune moment while cross-examining her. Your report states that the head injury appears to have been sustained post-mortem, which is the exact opposite of what I just said.
Oh, sure. I diligently dictated that report to Florence here, and she wrote it all down just like I said it. If something happened to it after that, weren't nothing to do with me.
You dictated it? If you could please tell me more. Why? Why aren't we progressing in the story yet? Just because I need to present the preliminary findings to the new statement? Edgeworth already spelled out the contradiction by pressing the last statement. What's even the point of this whole cross-examination? Dr. Hertz, I'd like you to take a look at the report for yourself. Well, it's about freaking time, Mr. Genius Prosecutor.
Very well. Allow me to relay to everyone what you have just told me. Ain't no doubt about what I said. I dictated my findings to Florence just like I told you I did. The fuddle-headed young thing must have wrote it down wrong or something.
Wow, that was a great impression.
Was it? We only ever heard Needler speak through Hertz. I'm not sure we can really judge impressions just from that. Nurse Needler's role in this crime was very important because, again, 2 of these options don't make sense because we already say her testimony wouldn't benefit Chairman Winter, but I don't know if her being the murderer would hinder him either, and her being the real victim is easily disproven just by her standing right there before us. Nurse Needler doctored the report in order to cover for her accomplice. You mean the killer? Because she's the accomplice. By saying she has an accomplice, aren't you technically accusing her of murder? Because accusing her of murder was one of the wrong options you could choose from the question you're answering.
So maybe I ought to have mentioned this before, but...
You mean ought to have mentioned, right? Past tense! I imagine they were none too pleased when it showed up as a surprise piece of evidence in this case. Well, I'm none too pleased you missed a whole O in 2.
You're dang right you couldn't take her hair. What kind of medical professional are you?
That's where you draw the line, so taking her clothes was okay.
I don't think so. Didn't Hertz say earlier?
And left the poor child in her smalls? Have you no respect, girl?
Who's to say one crime's worse than the other?
You've proven the nurse was part of the murder plot, but sadly for you it doesn't change a whole lot, because it does nothing to prove that Kay Faraday isn't the ringleader.
A 17-year-old girl, ringleader of an auction? I hope you realize that by trying to cover things up, you're still not benefiting yourself.
You should thank your former subordinate for what I'm about to share.
If I gave up my prosecutor's badge, I'm pretty sure Gumshoe is my former subordinate. No need for the quotation marks. Also, subordinate only has 1 B! We already proved that ourselves.
You... what?
Yes, just a few minutes ago!
Then why didn't you say so sooner?
Maybe because you just showed up out of nowhere? An object with a circular surface used in an auction. We're obviously talking about... If you're gonna give me a multiple choice question, challenge me!
I was just thinking back over the defendants I've made plea deals with over the years. People who poured their hearts out to me, who trusted me with every detail of their crimes. And then, when it came to their sentencing, I recommended life in prison every time. For every single one.
For every defendant, a life sentence? No lower?
What the heck are you doing, Gavel? You can't just accuse my dad! Without proper grounds, it's defamation!
An excellent observation, Eustace.
It is?
Well, I guess in a sense, deformation works the same way as the word you meant to say, which is defamation.
She had to do what he said. She didn't have any choice.
He?
The person in question was the chief prosecutor at the time.
Excelsius is more evil than I thought. Not only did he withhold information, he penalized the prosecutor in charge of the case, all because of hidden information that he himself withheld.
What kind of fact that the victim's burn mark was covered up possibly tell us?
I am so over these multiple choice questions by this point. The victim clearly had a burn mark, making 2 of these answers wrong.
Those tests you aced, I had the school give you perfect scores on all of them. Those debate and speech competitions you won, the judges were all friends of mine. If you never even realized that much, there's no hope for you, I'm afraid. None at all. You're no son of mine. Even you must see that!
Terrible father syndrome strikes again in Ace Attorney, except this one is not only evil, but just outright idiotic. If you cheated the system in your son's favor, I'd very much appreciate if you'd stop wondering how you raised a total buffoon. It shouldn't take a genius to figure out how. This whole thing with your son being so dumb, this is all your fault! Wait, so only his hair and fake beard got incinerated? Also, the burn mark is shaped like a skull. And it's on his chin of all places. When and how did he get that particular burn?
In the matter of the murder of Miss Rosie Ringer, this court finds you guilty.
Man, what a missed opportunity. You could have had black letters spelling out guilty, just like if Phoenix failed to exonerate his client. I feel like those proceedings went for more like between an hour and a half to 2 hours, not just an hour and 14 minutes.
As he read the letters, that's when he came up with the idea to frame Miss Faraday for Miss Ringer's murder. So he decided to place the victims in a very conspicuous place, namely in her left chest pocket.
Kinda defeats the purpose of stabbing her with the candelabrum if you weren't gonna also poke holes in the letter, too.
But before he could uncover the truth behind the auctions, he was disappeared.
We're grown adults that just got done solving a murder. Did you have to censor yourself while talking about another murder?
Okay, Kay. Transformation time.
Yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. Fits like a stolen glove.
Yeah, but where did she change? Hopefully not right there in the same room, at the very least behind some partition. Those had to be the slowest 9 minutes ever.
So, who did? Who would prepare such a thing? Oh no, I'm not the only one who would like to know.
And how do we know it wasn't you?
No, why would I do a thing like that, huh?
I'd suggest it to be because his client asked him to, but even if he did, the killer still wouldn't do it because that's not his MO. He always leaves a card at the scene of his crimes, letting the police know he's the culprit behind those crimes. As we learned in Farewell My Turnabout, he never tries to discredit himself, but if his client tries to discredit him, well...
Obliviate!
Discount Jaws theme. Discount Godzilla. This is immediately after the last episode ended, and if you remember, we were last seen up at the 51st floor of the big building. It was 9:53 at that time. How did we get back down to ground level in only 9 minutes? Was no one else inside using elevators? That freaking run.
What the heck else you want me to say, huh? Them right there's monster prints, mister. That big old, bad old Taurosaurus done stomped right through here. I ain't never been sure of nothing.
Oh, come on, Lotta. Shouldn't you have learned something from the Gordy ordeal? What if this is false, too?
Man trampled by giant monster. They'll lead with that in every paper from here to Honolulu.
That's not very far, considering that Hawaii is located in the Pacific Ocean, which, oh, would you look at that. The Pacific Ocean is directly west of California. Yeah, I think you'll want to think bigger than just Honolulu.
Long C says, begin at the beginning, with the first person to arrive at the scene. Well, did you really just discover the body?
I know his president's dead body is right nearby, but couldn't Lang still keep his cool on the person who discovered the body?
I done told y'all who did this. It was Taurosaurus, and my name ain't Lotta Hart.
Well, since it's not Taurosaurus, does that mean your name is now a lot of crap? We have an investigation to be getting on with. Step aside, please.
You can't order me around no more, mister.
Maybe I can't, but we have an Interpol agent right within the vicinity. He'd be happy to escort you from the premises.
I'm Penny Nichols. I work over at Global Studios.
Whoa there, now I got some crap to say. I've heard that in the original Japanese script for Turnabout Samurai, Penny's name tag just said staff, but due to a localization error when translating the game to English, the name tag included her first name. So for the localization in Ace Attorney Investigations 2, they put her name tag as assistant so that it would connect more with the Japanese version. But this is actually a far more interesting case because she actually introduced herself by name in this game, unlike in Turnabout Samurai where her full name is never spoken in character dialogue except for a few lines by Maya of all people, and on the third investigation day. Her full name may have been recorded in the court record, but again, that should have been impossible because we as the player don't learn the name until very late into the episode. That's some backwards logic right there, and you know it's crazy when I'm talking about easily the most forgettable character in the original trilogy. One of my old cases involved a murder on the set of a Steel Samurai movie. She was a member of the crew and provided some key evidence. Wrong and wrong. First off, the murder occurred during the filming of the Steel Samurai show, not for a movie. Second, while Penny did guide you to info on an incident that took place at Global Studios 5 years before Hammer's murder, she was helping the defense with that, not the prosecution. In fact, I've never seen Edgeworth interacting with Penny ever, though it could probably be off screen, and I can't imagine Penny doing anything important for Edgeworth's case. In fact, even for the defense, she hardly did much except for trading cards so Phoenix could talk to the kid that watched the fight. I'd say it's possible that this is where the killer entered from. Again, no green text. What's up with that?
What? That's a costume! You're sure the creature that made these huge footprints didn't just shrink or something?
Perhaps I didn't make myself clear. This thing in front of the trailer here, it looks like a monster costume. A costume! This is why I love Edgeworth. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. And I must scour the footage and send every uttering of this line. But you know that's impossible, don't you? You know that monsters aren't real?
Sure, I probably know that somewhere deep down. But it's way more fun to believe they are.
Yeah, maybe if you're 5 years old. So you're shooting a movie. It wouldn't happen to be a Steel Samurai movie, would it?
Nope.
Oh. You know, one of these days, Edward's gonna have to come clean about his love for this children's show. I mean, I've done it a good amount of times, no shame.
You'll have to forgive Mr. Edgeworth. He only cares about the Steel Samurai.
That's not! No, Edgeworth, I'm pretty sure it is.
So does Torosaurus smash the big building to pieces in a movie? I bet he does, right?
Wouldn't you like to know? But you'll just have to wait to find out in the theater.
That's going to take months, maybe even more, considering the murder that had just been discovered on the set. Not only were people talking about it, it played a major part in one of my cases. If it takes being the defendant just to make the case yours, then yeah, Gordon really did play a huge part in one of your cases.
He just changed one day. It was like he became a different person.
Quite literally.
Could you maybe light me up when I'm doing my next robbery? Help me look super cool.
You want me to shine a light on you while you're committing a crime?
You bet I do! What's so weird about that? What's the point of me doing my great thieving in the dark?
To make it harder to get caught?
You can bellow out shockwave, drown people in drool, squirt them with milk.
I'm on board with everything except for the squirting with milk. This is a bull we're talking about, not a female bovine, which is a cow. If you pay enough attention to the right side, you can catch a glimpse of Maya without examining the side gate twice. That really is big. Hello? Where's the green text?
Knock yourselves out. Oh, but don't do that literally. The steps can be kind of slippy.
First off, I'm pretty sure you meant slippery. Don't put a certain amphibian from a different franchise in people's heads. Second, slipping on metallic stairs would probably do more than knock you out. Worst case scenario, it could break your neck.
Everybody, this is Sean Penn.
Get it? Like the actor Sean Penn? He was in that biopic called Milk, and this character drinks milk. Tell me that's a coincidence.
If he's a prosecutor, where's his badge?
Why is Sean the only one to question Edgeworth's profession due to a lacking presence of his prosecutor's badge? I'm serious. Nobody else has done this. They just hear Miles Edgeworth prosecutor and don't bat an eye. But this kid? What a smart aleck. I don't have my badge right now.
Then how do you expect people to believe you're a prosecutor?
Again, was never an issue with anyone else but you.
The cow, man's best friend, reimagined as a terrifying monster.
I thought the dog was man's best friend. But murder goes against everything she believes in. Murder also went against everything Godot believed in, yet he still killed the master of the Korean channeling technique. Sure, he stabbed her while she was channeling a spirit he loathed for years on end, but he still stabbed her.
But the murder has to have happened 2 nights ago.
Why are you so set on believing that? Because while there may not be any cause to believe that now, evidence of such thing might turn up later.
Although, I guess Sean was practicing being a kid who can communicate with monsters.
Hot dang, you're right. He could have been communicating for real with them little horn doohickeys of his.
Right, but it seemed more like he was kind of looking up and talking right to him.
When Penny says right, does she actually believe she saw Sean communicating with a monster for real like the dialogue may imply? Or is she just playing along with a lot of suppositions? Because if it's the latter, that just makes things worse. How was it only 49 minutes after we came to the set that we ran back out to the plaza near the big building?
Well, last time we met you, you had about 800 other agents helping you.
No, only 99. That taxicab's driver's seat is on the right, which makes sense in Japan, but in the Americanized version of Gyakuten Kenji, am I meant to believe this is an import from England?
Is the defense ready to proceed?
You mean the trial hasn't started yet? It's 11:23 a.m. I wasn't expecting it to start that quickly after Ringer's murder was solved, but maybe the trial starting at least 11 sounds a bit more right, no? Or better yet, couldn't the trial of Fifi Lagarde just be delayed by another day so both the stand-in defense and prosecution could have time to prepare for the proceedings?
You'll have to bear with me though, gang. Didn't exactly get a ton of time to read the paperwork.
But most of what's important in this case you've already experienced for yourself while investigating with Edgeworth, right?
Oh, I was just wondering if you could tell me something. That something being why on earth I'm here.
Apparently being the defendant wasn't enough of a reason.
Objection!
You can have an objection soundbite for Knight, you can have one for Fender, and you can have one for Excelsius. But you can't have one for Lagarde?
Without the items in question, the prosecutor's case against the defendant cannot proceed. As such, this court hereby declares the accused, Fifi Lagarde, not guilty.
Is that even allowed? I know Cavella's under duress, but something about the verdict being read so early into the proceedings because the prosecution is missing the necessary evidence just doesn't sound legal or just. Or maybe it is. Well, it shouldn't be.
G won't be banging the Amberverse until you made it back with the goods. I promise.
Thank you. I'll be counting on you, Fender. And you, Franziska? How does that sound?
What makes you think I'd accept your help?
Because you can't win without the knife?
Oh, Franny Poo, wait up now.
It's probably nothing, but I've heard the fan-translated version of Fender, named Raymond Shields, acted more like a creep. I see something of that trait carried over to Fender. Oh gosh, probably not. I think a windy old bag has gotten to me somehow. Sure, it may seem like recess might actually end soon, since it was just for 15 minutes, but let's play Mind Chess with Gavel.
I am not yet a perfect servant of the law. That much is true.
Not yet? You say that like you ever will be.
My interest is solely in ensuring that a trial proceeds fairly once it has begun. And if, once it has, vital evidence cannot be presented, it should surprise no one if the accused goes free.
I understand that a little, but again, I feel like a recess or delay would make more sense than handing down a premature verdict.
What? You're Sean's mom, Judge Cavell? No way! Come on, you're too young.
How many people actually looked at the profiles in the court record once Kay said that? Because I was one of those people. Gavel is 26 and Sean is 13. That's a 13-year age gap. We learned later it's not biological, but holy freaking crap, this game raised concerns about teenage pregnancy, even though that wasn't the case as far as anyone was concerned. Why are you making me do this?
Because the great thief Yaragarasu just arrived at the scene of the crime, dummy. How is anybody supposed to know that if we don't announce her appearance?
How are you supposed to do your job if everyone knows you're here? Just don't announce yourself! You're not Darkwing Duck!
My impressions? I guess my main concern is, no offense to the victim and all, but is it all over for the production? Are we done? I can't help but worry.
If I were in Power's position, I wouldn't worry about it because the president was just there for a cameo. It's not exactly a loss if he's unable to fulfill that role.
Are you kidding? If they had real monsters to call on, I'd be out of a job.
Assuming they could hide their face as well as you can? If only they put this kind of energy into making a new Steel Samurai show or something. I'd imagine Edgeworth should have enough logic power to know when enough is enough, even with his favorite show, The Steel Samurai. The Sunshine Coliseum. They hold all kinds of events there, such as a rock concert where someone gets killed in accordance with the lyrics to one of the songs that is performed, and also where a magic troupe almost sees its revival. I thought we might be onto something there, but no luck. If you weren't onto something, why is it a logic piece? If there's still no freaking green text when we're gathering logic.
You just can't get out from under the drama, huh? Wherever he goes, the bodies follow. Miles Edgeworth, trouble magnet.
I thought Phoenix was the trouble magnet.
Anybody home? No? Anybody?
What are we, Kay? Common house thieves? Nah, Kay Faraday is the greatest cat burglar in the world. Actually, not true. More like Raven burglar. Can't you keep it down, though? There's a sledgehammer, a shovel, and a bunch of other heavy-duty tools here. That thing is no shovel. Shovels are for digging. That is for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. Nah, it's a shovel. Excelsius's goons obviously meant to kidnap Sean, a well-known child actor, so how do they wind up kidnapping Eustace? I mean, I know how the mistake was made, but given the circumstances, it really shouldn't have been possible. All Excelsius would have had to do is give a description on how to recognize Sean, such as being a whole lot smaller than Eustace. Last time we saw him, he was running out of the courtroom. Technically, yeah, but it was really the committee chamber. You'd think after all the times the baton flung up to smack him in the face, even Eustace would learn to stop bending it so much. Game gives you the option to be a jerk to Eustace for a hilarious instant time over penalty.
I'm not cut out to be a prosecutor. I am incompetent? I don't even know the right word.
Every other time Eustace says something wrong, whether it be a word or a phrase, Edgeworth hardly corrected him out loud. Now for my chest, correcting him is the right option?
What? No, I won't cover for him ever again. I mean, why would I after what he's done?
One of the options contradicts the question Eustace raised. Why would you cover for someone you hate?
My dad always said that clothes make you a man.
Is it because babies are born without clothes? I know it's a butchering of the actual phrase. I'm just making jokes here. This chapter is still going. Why is it still going? Completing Mind Chess with Eustace would have been the perfect time for a checkpoint.
No murder weapon means no conclusive proof, means no conviction. That's all there is to it.
That makes no sense. The lack of a murder weapon doesn't prove your client's innocence.
The same logic that applied to when she prosecuted the case against Maximilian Galactica about a year and a half ago.
Seriously? I've already taken more licks than I've had birthdays.
Whoa, Fender's thought bubbles? Yes, please! Also, by licks, he means whiplashes, right? So he's been whipped well over 36 times, right? Not a scratch on him, still alive. I mean, of course he is. Dick Gumshoe, Phoenix Wright, and even Larry Butt survived getting whipped several times.
I'll be pulling Knight into my office for a thorough grilling tomorrow, and I'll make that worm admit his kindness is lucky if it's the last thing I do.
By make him admit to it, I of course mean killing him. He's the last person on Earth I'd accept candy from. He's an assassin, not a kidnapper or a pedophile.
And it wasn't just his brawn at Captain Safe. He has bodyguards, body doubles, you name it.
Body doubles.
Let's both keep up the good work, shall we? We'll run the target to the ground at the end.
I'll have no problem at all running the target to the ground.
You're right. I abducted Kay, as you put it. But why would I do that? That's right, because I needed you to help me make sure that Winner got caught.
First of all, that's one heck of a way to get an evil man convicted. Force him to commit a crime that he can be charged for. Second, what's with the quotation marks on abduct? I don't care if you didn't intend to keep her by your side. You don't have to do that to call it an abduction. The only reason for these flashbacks is so we can figure out how Sean's kidnapper knew so much about our situation. But then after we give the correct answer, we go through these flashbacks a second time. What is up with that?
Seriously, Mr. Edgeworth. Sure, you're a great thief's assistant now, but that doesn't mean you get to wear the pin right away. You have to earn it.
If you know Edgeworth well enough, you should also have guessed that he had no intention at all to wear that pin. There's a compartment on the back of the Yatagarasu pin? For what reason? I mean, that's where the bug was planted, but why was it even designed this way in the first place?
Hey, jerkface!
Kay!
Eavesdropping coward! Why don't you come out and show yourself?
Great way to get people's attention, Kay. Very good. Ah, speaking of which, the child you saw being taken away. Was it the boy in this photograph?
Huh? Nah, that ain't him. The kid I saw looked dumber than mud, even if he did have on some fancy school uniform.
No prizes for guessing who she means.
So Miss Lloyd managed to confuse matters once again. Of course she jumped straight to assuming we're looking for Eustace before even taking a look at the photograph. The good news is the prosecutor for Lagarde's trial is out to find the evidence his father hid away to save Lagarde. The bad news is we still haven't found Sean, all because this woman is quick to assume all the wrong things. There are only 20 minutes left until 2? I'm just as surprised as you are. Since we got back from the Winter household, we got an update from Fender, investigated the storeroom, talked to Killer on the viewing platform, came back to the plaza, got the call from the puppeteer of the game, and learned about the mix-up from Tabby. All in the span of only 25 minutes? Bull freaking crap game!
Even if you're not around, I'll always be a detective. My job will always be to investigate crimes.
Even if the prosecutor I work with is some 17-year-old rock star whose older brother passed false evidence to a fellow defense attorney. I'm no longer a prosecutor, or indeed in anything, but we're investigating a case regardless. And I ask you this not as a prosecutor, but as a friend. Detective Gumshoe, will you help us? Edgeworth. Is showing humility to Gumshoe? Never thought I'd see the day when Edgeworth got such strong development. Never.
They found traces of what looked to be a powerful sedative. Brand was, 3Zs.
You could learn more about 3Zs by spending extra money on a DLC episode in the next Ace Attorney game called Turnabout Shamu. You'd think the empty garbage disposal area would be proof that the garbage truck that made off with Sean was a real garbage truck, right? But no, that's not at all what the game wants you to guess. You have to guess the lock, which, okay, a decent argument can be made there. Only a real garbage truck collector would have unlocked it, but why would the empty disposal area not have worked just as well? Is it just because it's too wide of an area to guess and the game wants you to think deeper? Because that's just stupid.
I captured the sound of that big old beastie breathing fire is what I captured.
How do you know it's not just some burner?
Alright, ready? It's fire breathing time, dagnabbit.
Come on, Tabby, you know better than to shout over the audio. Not an insect, Kay, an intercept. She was listening out for radio signals. It would have allowed her to listen in on any nearby transmissions. Which also means hearing everything Kay had gone through while being abducted. By the way, how strong is the signal exactly?
Alright, it's decided. When this case is finally over, we're all going to the festival together.
If I see any more of these logic pieces that aren't accompanied by green text, I'll have to edit the script to send them all at once.
Mr. Edgeworth, we're almost out of time.
Only almost? I thought we would be already.
Alright, with me, everybody, even in the depths of night.
Not only do we not have time for this, why is Kay suddenly sustaining words in her chant now? So Excelsius has his long beard and hair back again. More wigs? Where did he get all that? Not to mention so quickly.
I don't believe it's been conclusively proven that I was the auctioneer yet, has it?
Maybe not, but all we have to do is burn your beard again.
You said you looked everywhere. Everywhere where?
Literally everywhere! I even went to the dump!
Which dump? There's more than one. It's true, the bell may not be of much use to us as evidence. Except there's only 2 of those bells in existence, and the one that isn't here is with the assassin that crafted them. I have the results, Your Honor. It's been confirmed that these are finger marks. Unfortunately, it looks as though they were made by somebody wearing gloves. No. But also, don't the letters look a little familiar? Huh, Eustace?
I know you've hated me for as long as I can remember, but I want you to know that despite it all, I've always looked up to you as my dad. Thanks for everything, Excelsius. And goodbye.
When did you? You need me, dang it! You can't possibly survive without me! Eustace!
Yes! Eustace Winter has officially ascended to sainthood by this act alone. My gosh, this episode is full of satisfying character moments.
Yeah, she really let some juicy info slip there, right? She did, right?
Yes, she did. We really need to work on your confidence. It would have been so cool if Eustace was trained as a disciple by Edgeworth after he got his prosecutor's badge back and became a central prosecutor in a future installment. Oh well, at least we can hope for the release of Ace Attorney 7 real soon.
It was late. I was worried about you.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't need you to worry about me.
Says the kid who was just kidnapped 4 hours ago.
Are you listening to me? If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. You must.
Yikes, she has as much to say as President Wang did.
Sean, why would you keep this from me?
No reason.
Liar! That stuff might work on your mommy, kid, but it's not gonna work on me!
Honestly, I don't think it even works on Gavel.
I don't buy it for a second. Chief, there's something hanky about this kid. Sure as I'm standing right here.
Dang Skippy, there he is. He's hiding a scoop under them there horns, or my name ain't Lot of Heart.
Sure thing, lot of crap.
Them right there's Taurosaurus footprints, dang it. Ain't no holes dug by no old guy.
I think I've demonstrated more than adequately that that's exactly what they are.
Don't matter to me none what you just done did. I don't believe it, and that's that. I done told y'all I seen that big bad bull with my own 2 eyes.
The giant eye peering in at the window. I thought we'd gotten past that nonsense. Me too, Edgeworth. Me too.
Maybe if we could prove to them that it wasn't a monster either, they might finally drop it.
Or maybe Sean could tell them about his rehearsal in more detail, but since he's not gonna do it, I guess we'll have to, right? Miss Nichols didn't see Gordy at all. She saw this.
Didn't I just tell you were talking to a pro here? That don't look one bit like Gordy. Not one dang bit.
Ah! I thought I had it there. You did! I was pointing at the right thing! It was the camera crane! Freaking game! Give me back my help, you freaking thief! Unless you want to tell me it's a certain part of the crane you want me to point at! Screw you for your confusion and tricks, dang it! Yikes, I got a bit carried away there. I guess I did need to point further down the crane. Still stupid, though.
I think that might have finally shut them up.
Yep. Phew, what a waste of time. Most people would cry out for help if they saw somebody lying on the ground, and yet you didn't.
Yeah, because what was the point? He was dead.
That's kind of the point. It alerts people something happened on the set.
The kidnapper wanted $100 million.
$100 million? How much money even is that?
Exactly that. 100 million US dollars. Was it really only 33 minutes that we've been deliberating the charges against Gavel and Sean? Are you sure? And it seems it had been snowing. In California in February 2007? I don't know about that.
According to the file, they were the same size as his shoes. It's a match!
Hate to differ, but it sure doesn't look that way in the crime photo. He probably would have frozen back up again at dawn, you know. That's when it's usually coldest.
I don't think that would have helped much, Mr. Edgeworth. If a melted snowman froze again, it wouldn't turn back into a snowman. It would turn into an iceman.
I don't think Edgeworth said anything about a melted snowman turning back into a snowman once he froze up again at dawn.
Hi, Rosie. It's me. I guess you're asleep already.
Rosie? Who do we know is named Rosie? Or perhaps it was Picasso. She thought he was one of the kidnappers. Hey, careful on the keyboard there. You just jumbled up some of the letters in because in that line there. That's a lot of blood. It seems mostly to have come from the back of his head. As you can see, that area is completely caked. Yeah, but doesn't the flow seem a bit unnatural? Why is it that the only planter I could examine to get the dialogue idea is the one with the lion lily? That's right. I believe the footprints are located exactly where our planters once stood. And Excelsius was able to get the exact geographic location he needed even while the lot was used for filming? That's crazy.
The future is simply the past reheated. I think I heard that somewhere.
And for once, it seems you might have remembered it correctly.
But 12 years is a long time to reheat something for. If it was your lunch, it'd be ruined.
That and your house would have burned down before the 12 years had elapsed. Heck, it wouldn't even last 24 hours. Why is that blood already there by the burn of the snow? We're assuming this is where Alldown was killed, in which case, even if that blood never belonged to Alldown, the recreation can't already have the blood at the scene before he was killed.
Detectives bust a gut to find evidence on the scene, and then prosecutors come along and twist it for their own ends.
You Nipponese fans are so darn lucky that you got to know the official story of Lang's hatred for prosecutors straight from Capcom, while us Yanks used a fan-made translation to figure it out, and waited 10 years after said fan-made translation to get an official answer. Huh. These are the victim's shoes, I'm sure of it.
What do you mean?
Look at how the laces are tied. Don't they look a little strange to you? What's more, they don't appear to fit properly. I'm amazed at all the things Edgeworth first notes. If it were me, I would have first noted the fact that the shoes look too big for his feet, which he does know, but only second. Man, the things that could go wrong with the recreation before all the facts are put into place. Just look at how completely incorrect this whole thing looks. Mr. Alldown wasn't killed here between the planters at all.
Then what's this blood doing here?
Things have changed considerably in terms of what the simulation is showing us. But if we want to look more closely at this blood, I think we'll be better off looking at the simulation from the point at which the body was discovered. First of all, you don't have to do that. You can still just examine the blood while looking at the moment of the kidnapping. Second, what do you mean, what's this blood doing here, Kay? You were the one who inputted the data, were you not?
Sean isn't my biological son. I adopted him.
So no teenage pregnancy involved. Phew! Shifu! I've been waiting for the right time to say this, but...
What? What is it? You've been hovering there this whole time. Can it wait?
No, it obviously can't. He was never done. You're just being a jerk.
So why? Why didn't he just say something? Why didn't he tell me who he was?
I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry.
Dang. Strong bonds and connections like what we see here. Is it any wonder this episode is in my top 10? So, 10 cents off the counter. Boy, doesn't this image remind you of something else entirely.
This case has taken so many twists and turns, I'm starting to lose track.
Not gonna lie, I had been losing track sometimes too, but once it's all pieced together, man is it fun to look back on every now and then.
But the picture was never officially put into evidence, correct?
No, he appears to have kept hold of it after taking the witness statement of the child who drew it.
Yeah, because he knew. He knew President Wong was dead. And he knew what would happen if that news ever got out.
Zhang Fa would have been plunged into chaos, no doubt. Maybe for a bit, but doesn't politics dictate that a new president would have to be put in place? Surely that would resolve the chaos, right?
He also overheard them hatching a certain sordid little plot. A plot to remove me, the only other person who knew what had really happened, from the picture.
Sounds like the killer and Canis have something in common. They were hired for a hit and were said to have been betrayed from the start.
It was snowing, more than it had in years, and cold enough that death by freezing was a real possibility. I had taken Helmut out for a little walk.
This was 18 years ago. It's not unheard of for a dog to be that old, but according to the wiki, Helmut looks to be a Tosa. The life expectancy of a Tosa is 10 to 12 years, meaning Helmut must be one healthy dog to have lived that far back.
It seems that they really were on the brink of death when I found them, and the shock of the experience caused them both to lose their memories. They weren't even able to remember their names.
So Simeon Saint and Bronco Knight were never the real names? It's a little annoying to have to scroll to this last statement to present the contradiction, especially considering he said nothing about Braille, but at least we can now start to answer how he, a blind man, was able to play correspondence chess with someone who can see. I gotta be honest, that wasn't really a thought that occurred to me when I first played the Captive Turnabout, and good thing, too. If Knight was Frost's son, Gusto's son would have to be...
I've known him since we were kids, when both of us were all alone.
Do you remember who said something to that effect in the Captive Turnabout? I sure hope so, because that's your best bet. With all that's happened so far, learning about the body double, where the real president was buried after Canis killed him, then going to the circus to question the real mastermind, does 5:30 p.m. seem a bit early to anyone else, or is it just me? Remember, it was 4:51 when the truth of Sean's father was revealed, 39 minutes before we started confronting Saint.
You told me back at the jail! You said you believed I was innocent!
Yeah, of the murder of Bronco Knight.
Objection!
I am not going to let that slide. Quercus Alba, who was an ambassador, had an objection soundbite. Bronco Knight, a bodyguard, had an objection soundbite. Neither of them had a career in law, and neither does Simeon. Dude's an animal tamer by trade. There's no reason for him to have an objection soundbite whatsoever.
It's the same truck, I'm sure of it.
Don't be like great Ace Attorney, right? I'm glad some of these games use flashback for things we might not always remember.
Whose prints will prove it was the truck we saw?
Once again, the court record doesn't give the protagonist his own profile, so we have to answer a multiple choice question. Honestly, I think they should have just stuck with the protagonist having their own profile after the stolen turnabout once made it important.
Alrighty, take it away, Mr. Edgeworth.
Huh? Me?
Of course. Who else do you think was going to do it?
Since you know how to use it, you? Also, this is the only time in the game we take fingerprints in this fashion. Come on, game. It's a cool feature. Let us use it more.
It sticks to fingerprints. So, once you found one, make sure to dump plenty on there. And then, blow away the excess.
Blow it away? You know how this stuff works, Edgeworth. You shouldn't have to ask.
You're no different from a certain other evidence tamperer we've had the misfortune of meeting.
No! I'm nothing like him! Who is this evidence tamperer Simeon referred to? Manfred von Karma? Because Simeon never met him. Was it just the first name that came to mind connected to Edgeworth?
Listen to yourself. What do you think I am, some kind of evil puppet master? You've seen me. I can barely get the animals to do what I want.
Then explain the makeup and hair, and the pig squirrel cat armrest.
I was just about to head out and meet my dad at the contest. Then Bronco showed up. He pinned me down and tied me up. He was crying the whole time, whining on and on. I'm sorry, but my dad says I have to do this, and if I don't do what he says to, it's so scary.
Geez, still holding a grudge for something someone was scared to avoid doing even 18 years later. Imagine that.
Simeon, the victim in the IS-7 incident, was a guy named Artie Frost. Yeah, that was my dad's name. My memories got kind of scrambled that day. What little I remember was pretty mixed up.
Oh, you can freaking say that again.
It's not that he doesn't trust other people. Poor kid doesn't even understand the concept. Doing something for somebody else's sake? Forget about it. He'll never understand.
Except maybe for an assassin that killed a foreign president. Holy crap, that's a big penalty. Wouldn't be an Ace Attorney Investigations game without that kind of curveball in the final boss. After all, Quercus Alba had that as well, if you remember.
I was as surprised as...
So it was around that time when Simeon turned off the bug, but then when Kay shouted at the bug, she scared the crap out of Tabby. Did Simeon just turn the bug back on for the lulz? But he was just listening in on the goings-on, not stalking or filming our heroes. Miss Lloyd, how long were you recording the intercepts from the bug for?
Started about, let's see now, 2 nights back?
In which case, during which time frame would we be likely to find Mr. Saint's voice on that tape?
Only as far back as 2 nights ago. What would we even expect to find from this morning, or heck, even last night?
Could the president have been aiming at Mr. Saint?
What would the bullet have struck? Well, what was Simeon writing in?
So maybe I ought to have mentioned this before, but...
We see this error here again. Great.
Well, is there a detective in the house? Somebody arrest that boy! Can't help noticing nobody rushing in to slap on the handcuffs. What's the matter?
The matter is a gaping hole in your logic, that's what.
Well, as long as you know what you're doing.
50% penalty for presenting something wrong? Screw off!
This is going to be tricky, but I have to tear his testimony down one statement at a time.
That makes it sound like you have to press all his statements first, but actually, all you have to do is present evidence. When the president attacked you from the roof, you had to think quickly in order to protect yourself. The method you chose? Letting the balloon right on top of him. I just remembered, the double hates the sound of gunfire, right? I was thinking about asking why he just let the balloon slowly descend on top of himself, and when I say slow, I'd have to mean slow, because hot air balloons don't descend quickly at all. Then I realized something else entirely. Edgeworth must have forgotten something about the president he met on the plane. The sound of gunfire terrifies him. You think it'd come to his mind once we got the man's autopsy report with the gunshot residue.
Alright, Sean, it's time to be honest with us all. You know it's the right thing to do. You killed your daddy, didn't you? You hated him, didn't you? We get it. Who wouldn't?
You really don't have to call him Sean's daddy, especially considering that wasn't the least bit true at all, and you know it. Crap, the next game I have to send features a character that talks like that, and he's one of my least favorite Ace Attorney villains. You hit the body right here. At a location near the harbor, I remembered Gumshoe telling me he retrieved Sean only 15 seconds ago. There should be traces of your misdeed on this piece of evidence. On the murder weapon we were just talking about. And while he was dangling from the rope you used. He was caught on Sean's rehearsal tape. But where's the rope he was tied to? Even under cover of darkness, it couldn't have been that thin or he wouldn't have been dangling. It's a battle of the assassins, Shelly the Killer and Bonnet Armacanis. Which one would win in a fight? Post your thoughts below.
But I would respectfully request that you spare him.
Is it just me or is there an extra space between but and I?
I won't ever forgive you. But I shouldn't be the one who gets to punish you. That's what these guys are for. My mom, the prosecutor, people like that.
Wow, this is almost Spider-Man 3 levels of forgiving the one who killed a parental figure. I say almost because Peter Parker did forgive Flint Marko for the murder of Uncle Ben.
But I was lucky. Somebody was kind enough to save me from myself.
Objection! Yeah, I inserted that soundbite. No physical appearance of he who could turn any trial on its head, except for occasional cameos to spot. I see. It seems that we both have plenty still to learn.
Indeed. We are neither of us perfect yet.
There's that word again. Yet. You're never gonna be perfect, but that doesn't mean you gotta worry about it at all. Why is this text so fast? Come on! I can barely read all that!
Why do you think I'm being so nice to these stupid freaking animals? I don't care about the freaking license. I just want to get out of here.
First step is to work on that freaking anger.
Man, I've met so many beautiful people now and drawn so many beautiful sketches. Lulu isn't the biggest fan of my new work, though. She took one look at my sketchbook and hit me over the head with it. Bam! Just like that. And, then she left. Guess that's one less beautiful person in my life now.
Now, why do you think that is?
Sign saved today again, huh? Good thing I happen to be around, right?
Yeah, but only because an actual homicide detective still doesn't have stuff like fingerprint powder and luminol on his person.
I very much enjoyed the movie, Sean.
What? It's out already? But, that doesn't make any sense. I'm saying I'll see to it that you get paid a little more, detective.
You will! This is unbelievable, sir!
Way to go, Edgeworth. You just inspired the burst of confidence that made Gumshoe so sure he'd win his next case against Phoenix Wright.
As long as the three of us stick together, we got nothing to fear. Right, Mr. Edgeworth?
Indeed. Nothing at all. Unfortunately, the future isn't very nice. Only one of you three will actually be seen again beyond this game. Dang it.